Chapter 191. Poison Doctor? Su Yun frowned, seeing two silver needles piercing towards him. He did not dodge, allowing the needles to pierce into him, piercing into his Shanzhong and Tianfang acupuncture points. Bursts of coolness spread from the acupuncture points, spreading throughout his body. Looking at Wang Xianming, his mystical technique was sluggish, his qi was weak, his face was ugly, as though he was affected by the poison gas. He had to stop his mystical technique, swallowed a pill, and started to retreat. The mist dispersed. This is poison gas. Everyone hold your breath, use your profound spirit qi to isolate it. It's useless, this seems to be a specially made poison gas. There is no way to isolate it, it can permeate profound spirit qi. Directly enter the body. What, how is this possible? Isn't Blossom Heart Valley always benevolent and righteous? Since when did they learn to use such vicious methods? Retreat! Quickly retreat! Voices of fear rang out. Those who could not control the poison gas all turned and ran. All of their faces were filled with despair, their steps staggered. A majority of them forgot to use their mystical techniques to escape. Many of them directly fell into the poison gas. The scene became even more chaotic. This poison, Su Yun was startled. He took a deep breath, closed his eyes and thought for a while, and very quickly, he understood. The bitter heart poison gas could easily break through profound spirit qi, penetrate through the skin, and affect the 8 meridians and qi channels. The poisoned person would lose his strength after a few breaths, faint, and unable to use his profound spirit qi, completely losing his fighting ability. The most terrifying thing was, the bitter heart poison gas could affect anyone below the spirit star realm, which meant that even a spirit soul disciple could not avoid it. Maybe a spirit soul disciple could suppress the poison gas, but if they stayed in the poison gas for too long, they would not be able to escape the fate of fainting. This was one of the unique techniques of Blossom Heart Valley. Su Yun had long heard of the Poison Immortal Valley, but in his previous life, he never had the chance to see it, never did he expect to see it this time. Su Yun looked at the figures shuttling through the poison gas, his eyes blazing. Who would have thought, in the eyes of others, they were just a group of weak doctors? If they could save people, they could kill. In his previous life, Su Yun muddle-headedly left the Su family. His cultivation was low. He did not have much money. He rode a spirit stallion to travel north and south, looking for experts, hoping to find an expert who could unravel the reason behind his lack of talent. But a small spirit novice disciple, who would care? Who would want to see it? After a few trials and tribulations, he had suffered a lot of cold eyes and suffered a lot of bitterness. With his last glimmer of hope, Su Yun came to Blossom Heart Valley. At that time, he was penniless and destitute. However, as soon as he entered the valley, he was received by the disciples of the valley. They gave him food and clothes and even treated his injuries. They didn't ask for a single cent or a single cent. They were kind and merciful. From then on, Su Yun finally saw a glimmer of hope in the darkness. He took the initiative to stay in Blossom Heart Valley to do odd job. He was willing to start from the lowest level. During the period of working, he could always hear or see all kinds of medical knowledge. He was pleasantly surprised to find out that medical knowledge did not have a high cultivation requirement. Su Yun placed his hopes on Blossom Heart Valley's medical knowledge. He had long thought of joining Blossom Heart Valley. The disciples of the Blossom Heart Valley were all kind. Su Yun heard a lot and saw a lot. He asked a lot of questions. The disciples were patient and always taught him knowledge. In their eyes, Blossom Heart Valley was their family. Why would they be impatient with their own family? A year later, Blossom Heart Valley recruited new disciples. Su Yun signed up to participate. Blossom Heart Valley's recruitment was the grandest event in the entire Julian district. Because Blossom Heart Valley had very low requirements for applicants, it was not like other sections. They either required an astronomical amount of registration fees, or they were the sons of wealthy merchants or the sons of the city lords. In order to enter Blossom Heart Valley, one only needed to complete the assessment. In the past, the number of applicants had exceeded 1,000,000. But Blossom Heart Valley only recruited 3,000 people. Wasn't it just like a magnificent army crossing a single plank bridge? But what was worth rejoicing was that Su Yun's cultivation talent was extremely poor. But he had some experience with paper and ink. In addition, he had immersed himself in Blossom Heart Valley for a year, so he was able to enter the valley safely. But his heart was not here. Blossom Heart Valley could only give him medical knowledge, but could not give him strength. He had made a decision in his heart. Once his talent recovered, he would pursue strength and take revenge for Qing Air. Blossom Heart Valley treated him with great kindness. Su Yun felt guilty. He did not hide anything and told them the truth. Unexpectedly, the people of Blossom Heart Valley were very open-minded. All the elders and grandmasters did not care. Everyone in Blossom Heart Valley was free. They could go anywhere they wanted. The reason they taught their disciples was not to develop Blossom Heart Valley, but to nurture more and better spirit doctors, so that they could spread throughout the Sky Martial Continent, save the dying and heal the injured. Towards this, Su Yun prostrated himself in admiration. He engraved the kindness in his heart. After entering the valley, he spent days and nights researching on medicine and medicine. He studied with great concentration. His craziness almost overshadowed Pill King. After his medical skills were accomplished, Su Yun helplessly realized that even with the medical skills of Blossom Heart Valley, he was unable to solve his own problems. Helpless, Su Yun could only leave. But, with his superb medical skills, he would be able to visit the experts in the future. At least, he would not be rejected at the door. Su Yun removed the group of swords and retreated a few steps. The poison mist had dispersed all the sections. Even the God Treasure King had returned to his own rainbow dragon boat. Blossom Heart Valley, Purple Star Academy and the Mu family were finally able to take a breather. "Are you guys all right?" An old yet sullen voice came out. Su Yun and the rest turned to look, only to see Pill King and the other elders of Blossom Heart Valley were already there. Senior brother, great clan elder, Guillemot Ju and the rest anxiously ran over. "We are fine. It is all thanks to Senior Pill King's timely appearance. If not, we would not have been able to hold on for long." Mu Feng heaved a sigh of relief and walked over with Madame Purple Star. Then, when Pill King looked over, he automatically ignored Mu Feng. His old eyes landed on Madame Purple Star. "Madame Purple Star? You actually came?" Pill King was slightly surprised. "Don't misunderstand. I am not here for Blossom Heart Valley. I am here for Master Sword Lord. Madame Purple Star remembers favors. Master Sword Lord saved my Purple Star Academy. He is my benefactor. Today's matter is purely to repay a debt of gratitude." Madame Purple Star held on to her walking stick and said, "I understand." Pill King nodded and did not say anything else. Seeing that, Su Yun muttered in his heart, "Seems like there is a story between Madame Purple Star Principal and Pill King. Rascal!" Just then, Pill King turned his head and spoke to Su Yun. "The demonic poison has been cleared. Miss Qing Air is waiting for you at the back of the mountain. Hurry and find her. Leave this to us." "Has Qing Air's poison been healed?" Su Yun was elated. Pill King nodded. Su Yun hurriedly cupped his fists towards Pill King. Taking a deep breath, he said seriously, "Senior's great kindness, I will definitely repay it. Today's matter was caused by Su Yun. I will bring Qing Air and leave Blossom Heart Valley." "Leave the valley?" Pill King was stunned. "Rascal, are you looking for death? There are a bunch of hungry wolves outside. If you leave Blossom Heart Valley, I'm afraid that not long after, you will be dismembered by them." Su Yun shook his head bitterly. "Senior, I have already troubled all the senior brothers and sisters in the valley too much. Many of them were injured because of me. Some even died. I cannot continue. They framed me as a demon. In truth, it is only because of the heavenly crystal monarch occult force. If I continue to stay in Blossom Heart Valley will not be peaceful. Only after I leave will Blossom Heart Valley regain its peace. So I should leave. Rascal, Senior, please delay for a moment. I will bring Qing air and leave from the back of the mountain. After an incense worth of time, you can let them in. Tell them that I have already left Blossom Heart Valley. After they search for me, they will give up. This matter can be settled. But there are so many experts. There are so many sections. Can you really escape? Pil King asked. Up to fate. Su Yun did not want to waste any more time persuading him. He turned and headed towards the back of the mountain. But just at this time, a gigantic meteor-like light beam suddenly flew over from the horizon. The light beam was completely demonic green. It was extremely strange. It shot over and directly landed in the sky above Blossom Heart Valley. Then, it exploded like fireworks. Whoosh! The exploding light beams instantly formed a huge circular light array, continuously rotating in the air. A large amount of thick demonic chi spread out from the air. That large array seemed to be some kind of strange spatial door. Countless pieces of flesh and bones seeped out from the surface of the array. There were pieces of human corpses and beast corpses, but most of them were terrifying blood. They fell from the sky and smashed onto the ground that was cleared by the poison mist. It dyed the ground red. What's going on? Regardless of whether it was the people of Blossom Heart Valley or the sects that were forced to retreat by the poison mist, they were all shocked by the demonic scene. Was this part of our plan? Su Yongnian quickly walked towards the Immortal Sword sect and placed Feng Jian on the carriage. He asked the heavily injured Feng Jian. But Feng Jian did not answer him. Great Clan Elder, what do we do now? Su Yun is still there. Qing Air is definitely hiding in Blossom Heart Valley. If we do not attack Blossom Heart Valley, then this operation will fail. We will not be able to answer to the Patriarch. One of the higher-ups of the Su family said softly. Su Yongnian's face darkened. He looked at everyone. Seeing that the various sects had not retreated, he said softly, "Let's wait and see. These people have not left. They are not giving up. We still have a chance. Immediately send people to guard all the exits of Blossom Heart Valley. I'm worried that Su Yun has plans to escape." "Yes, sir." The higher-ups nodded. He immediately led the experts of the Su family and left. After that, everyone's attention was focused on the strange array and the sinister and terrifying blood rain. Spirit Demon Chi. It's Spirit Demon Chi. Suddenly, the God Treasure King on the Rainbow Dragon boat shouted. Spirit Demon Chi? Don't tell me this is a Spirit Demon array? Pil King was stunned. He saw that the Spirit Demon array in the sky had stopped raining blood. The corpses seemed to have all fallen. The ground was already covered with corpses and blood. They were like a piece of art. They were all piled up in a mess. A large amount of blood flowed along the corpses. Madame Purple Star looked at the corpses and blood. Suddenly she thought of something. Her face turned pale white. She turned pale with fright. Quick! Quickly destroy these things. This is also a Spirit Demon array. The two Spirit Demon arrays are connected. A calamity is about to happen. Quickly destroy this Spirit Demon array. She used all her strength to shout out. Not only was it for the people here to hear, it was also for the greedy sects to hear. Pil King and the rest of the Blossom Heart Valley people were the first to react. They immediately rushed over with the Mu family. However, they were still a step too late. The array in the sky suddenly released a beam of red light that shone on the corpse on the ground. A pillar of light shot into the sky, and in the next instant, a large number of monsters suddenly appeared in the pillar of light. It was a teleportation array. Su Yun's eyes widened. He held onto his sword tightly as he looked at everything in the light pillar. Sprite's shadow, heavenly crystal, monarch occult force, everlasting stone. These are all treasures. They need to be controlled by this princess. And this princess orders you to quickly hand them over. In the light pillar, a dignified female voice sounded out. Following that, a large number of beast-headed monsters rushed out and pounced on the head. Chapter 192. Who are you people? Seeing the large number of weird figures rushing out from the light pillar, Guillermo Ju anxiously asked. But the other party did not stop to answer him. After rushing over, they immediately pulled out their green blades and rushed towards the people of Blossom Heart Valley. A group of demons, weird. To actually dare to cause trouble in Blossom Heart Valley. Today, none of you will be able to leave. Pill King's old face hardened. He immediately made his move. His palms released a large amount of silver light that flew towards the lady who called herself Princess. You old fool who overestimates yourself. The lady looked at Pill King indifferently. She raised her fair arms and her slender fingers released circles of green light screens. These light screens automatically flew out and hit the silver needles that Pill King was thrusting. Dang dang dang, the silver needles were all blocked. Pill King's eyes congealed. But he did not stop there. He released his palms again. 2 streams of poison chi were released from his palms. His aura was like a dragon as he spiraled forward. But the lady's mouth revealed a disdainful smile. Poison? In this world, is there anything stronger than demon poison? We live in demon poison all year round. Why would we be afraid of the poison refined by you ants? The lady withstood the Pill King's poison chi. She took a few steps forward. Her powerful strength and inhuman methods caused everyone to be flabbergasted. Damn it! Our Blossom Heart Valley's only strength is poison. If we can't even do anything to them, I'm afraid it will be hard for us to fight them. Roar! A large number of soul stones rushed forward and bit the demons. But although the soul stones were strong, there were not many of them. Before they could even bite a demon to death, they were torn into pieces. We need support. Blossom Heart Valley's second clan elder Chen Mu Yun looked at the bitter battle of the Blossom Heart Valley disciples and shouted, "Disperse the poison mist. Let the sects over there help." They won't. Once the poison mist is dispersed, they will only look for Su Yun. Their goal is Su Yun. As for protecting the peace of the righteous sects, that is just an excuse. Need their help? That is impossible. The Medicine King said helplessly, his old eyes still staring at the woman who was walking towards him step by step. Since it's like this, let's retreat. We will retreat back into the valley first. Madame Purple Star rushed over and stood in front of Yao Wang with her old and stooped body. Yao Wang looked at her with a complicated expression, his face revealing a trace of astonishment. Purple Star, what are you doing? You guys hurry up and retreat. I'll deal with this woman. Since she's a spirit demon, your poison will most likely have no effect on her. It'll be much easier for me to defeat her. No. The Pill King gritted his teeth, his expression determined. How can I let a woman fight for me? This won't do. Quickly retreat to the valley. I'll handle this. You stubborn old man, haven't you changed after so many years? Let's go. You should be the one to leave. The two of them quarreled. But the woman on the other end was getting impatient. I think it's better if the two of you attack together. As soon as she finished speaking, the exquisite figure in the green robe instantly rushed over. The woman waved her hands and shot out 2 slender auras. The auras turned into blades and sliced towards the 2 people. Madame Purple Star and Medicine King's faces darkened. They clenched their teeth and attacked together. Seeing that, Su Yun, who was at the back, frowned. It's this woman again. Since she wanted the heavenly crystal and the sprite's shadow, then she was coming for him. If he stayed here, Pill King and the rest would be in danger. He could not hesitate and had to leave quickly. Su Yun thought about it. He hardened his heart and rushed into the valley. Not good. Su Yun is escaping. Su Yongnian, who was watching from the other side of the fog, was shocked. He anxiously shouted, "The fog has thinned. Don't hesitate. Rush in and kill Su Yun. Take back all the things that belong to the Su family. Yes. The experts of the Su family all moved out. Don't just stand there. A portion of you, send Elder Feng back to the sect. The rest follow me. We'll kill Su Yun and take revenge for Elder Shin Hong. The clan elder of the Immortal Sword sect also spoke. We can't let Su Yun go. These demons must be Su Yun's accomplices. Everyone attacked. Su Yun's departure had completely agitated the people here. They were initially planning to watch the fire burn, and watch the sudden appearance of the spirit demons and Blossom Heart Valley people fight to the death, but Su Yun wanted to leave, which made them unable to sit still. God Treasure King and Exuding Fire Sect Clan Elder Yang Gu were the same. Seeing Su Yun rushing into the valley, they immediately led their experts to chase. We must capture Su Yun. We cannot let them escape. Su Yangnian's face was gloomy. His heart was cold. He turned to look at the Su family's troops. He saw an unfamiliar man dressed in blue. This man was added in a few days ago. Although he did not say a word and did not participate in the battle, Su Yangnian knew that everything he and Su Lixiong did was to answer to the power behind this man. But there were too many variables. There were too many people who were after the treasures. Su Yangnian could only try his best. The lady who was fighting with Pill King and Madame Purple Star sensed that Su Yun was trying to escape, and immediately bellowed out. No one knew what she was saying, but 4 gigantic existences the size of small mountains immediately rushed out from all directions. These 4 existences had 2 heads with horns on their head. Their limbs were thick and strong. They were dressed in human skin dresses. Their bodies were dark green. Their gazes were ferocious. In their hands they held a gigantic axe. They smashed through the crowd and rushed towards Su Yun. Although they were 3 to 4 meters tall, their speed was extremely fast. Very quickly they closed in on Su Yun. 4 gigantic axes filled with dense spirit demon chi slashed over. Su Yun anxiously dodged to the side. The axe smashed onto the ground, but the spirit demon chi exploded and directly struck his body. In a moment, he flew out and fell a few meters away. Su Yun's face changed. Shit, the power of the heavenly crystal is starting to dissipate. Furthermore, these 4 terrifying existences were most likely at the spirit soul disciple realm. Who exactly is this lady? Why is she able to control so many spirit soul disciple experts? Su Yun clenched his teeth and brandished the death sword towards the 4 gigantic existences. He then turned and ran towards the back mountain of Blossom Heart Valley. Nearing the back mountain, he saw a person rushing over. Su Yun looked over. A beautiful figure with an elegant figure dressed in plain clothes. Her face was devoid of makeup, but she was extremely beautiful. Wasn't that Su Qing'er? Young master. Seeing Su Yun running over with blood all over, Su Qing'er was startled. Her eyes were filled with tears. She anxiously ran over and cried out, "Are you all right? How did this happen? Why are you injured? Young master." "I'm fine. Qing'er, don't worry. Let's go. Let's quickly leave Blossom Heart Valley. Let's go now," Su Yun said anxiously. "Go?" Just then, the 4 spirit demon giants with astonishing chi were already nearing. Such powerful chi. Are they the ones who injured young master? Su Qing's face tensed up. Her eyes were filled with anger. Her heart was filled with hatred. However, the opponent's chi was astonishing. Their cultivation was not low. If they were to fight, she would not have much chance of winning. But just as she was thinking about what to do, her small hands were suddenly held by a warm big hand. Then, she was pulled away. "Don't hesitate." Su Yun grabbed Qing'er's hands and shouted, "Go! Quickly go. We can only be safe if we leave." Hearing Su Yun's words, Qing'er could only nod her head and run. "You can't run. White Bone Demon Thorn!" One of the giants picked up the big axe in his hand and slashed towards the ground. Dong! The axe blade fell to the ground. The ground split open. A burst of spirit demon chi seeped into the ground. The ground in front of Su Yun started to wriggle. Then, a few white bone thorns rose up and trapped the two of them. Su Yun's face congealed. He pulled out the death sword and slashed. The sword light swept across. Crack! The white bone thorns were all broken. But because of the bone thorns, the 4 spirit soul disciple experts had already caught up. Demon blood prison! A giant's 2 heads roared at the same time. The deep and resounding voice resonated out. Once again, a faint green barrier appeared around them. Like a prison, Su Yun and Qing Er were completely trapped. Then, a few giants rushed forward. I will tear you into pieces. I will dig out your spirit and turn you into my food. The 2 heads of the spirit demon giants swayed. 2 of them were snatching Su Yun and the other 2 were snatching Qing Er. Su Yun's eyes flashed with an ominous glint. He stared at the big hands that were extending towards him. Suddenly, he took a step forward and rushed forward. Swinging his sword, the remaining flying sword left the sword sheath and rushed towards the giants. So the sword blades flew everywhere. Sword intent surge. Over 10 swords formed an encirclement and slashed forward. The giants were caught off guard. In the blink of an eye, their hands were chopped off. Demonic green blood spurted out. Die! Su Yun's mind was surging with anger, looking at the filthy existences. His killing intent exploded. He hugged Qing Er's slender waist with one hand, both of his legs stepped back, and like a leaf, he jumped backwards, and while in the air, he raised one hand, the death sword's tip pointed at the 4 first-stage spirit soul realm spirit demon cultivators, and quickly muttered something. Qing Er, who was still in a state of shock, and could not regain her senses, heard a few words. Cleaving the heavens, beheading the dragon. Rumble! A clap of thunder sounded out in the sky. Following that, the entire blue sky darkened. A large amount of black clouds gathered. As they gathered, they formed a vortex that kept on spinning. Faintly, something seemed to be leaking out from the center of the vortex and rushing towards them. Gradually they could see it clearly. It was a gigantic divine sword that looked like a dragon. It looked like a sharp sword used by a god. It was extremely long and thick. It was extremely majestic. Coming out of the black clouds, it directly rushed towards them. The sword pressure was like a huge mountain crashing down. Ah! The 4 spirit demon Dao experts all screamed out in pain. Their bodies were too huge, and it was difficult for them to escape. The pressure caused them to be unable to move, and they could only watch as the gigantic sword fell. Bang! The dragon's sword fell, causing the ground to shake violently. Cracks started to appear everywhere. The entire Blossom Heart Valley seemed to be thrown into a raging storm because of the dragon sword. The few giants could not withstand it. The 2 closest to them were instantly smashed into pieces. The remaining 2 reacted in time and dodged. But they were still struck by the aftershock and were flung out. They landed on the ground and their skin cracked open. Demon blood flowed out crazily. Shun Hong was the great clan elder of the Immortal Sword sect. She was already at the peak of the spirit soul realm. Even she could not withstand this technique. How could the 4 first-stage spirit soul realm cultivators control it? Clang! Su Yun held onto the death sword as he stood on the ground. He almost fell. His face was pale white. All the qi in his body was exhausted. Young master! Rascal! At the same time, 2 sweet-sounding and anxious voices rang out from inside and outside. They were Qing Er and Ling Qingyu. Qing Er anxiously supported Su Yun, who was on the verge of falling. Tears continuously flowed down her face. Her heart was in pain. I'm fine. Let's go. Su Yun gasped for breath as he spoke. You can't leave. A cold voice came out. A gust of demonic wind blew over. It was that woman again. Su Yun's eyes widened. His scarlet-red eyes were filled with unquenchable anger. Demon girl, don't think of leaving. Pill King's voice came out from behind. Madame Purple Star and Pill King chased after him. They attacked the demonic wind. Chapter 193. Pill King and Madame Purple Star's faces were pale white. Su Yun knew, with just the two of them, they were not the lady's opponent. His energy was exhausted, and it was difficult to rely on the sprite's shadow to kill her. If the two treasures were at their peak, they could definitely fight, but not now. Ching-er! Su Yun turned around, and shouted weakly to Ching-er, who was beside him. Young master, Ching-er is here. Ching-er wiped the tears from the corner of her eyes, and anxiously replied. The exquisite heart stone that was stolen from the Su family, is it still with you? He held onto his sword, panting as he asked. Ching-er nodded her head, and anxiously took out the treasure from her storage ring, and presented it to Su Yun. Looking at the beautiful exquisite heart stone, Su Yun's eyes finally revealed a look of relief. Ching-er, do you know why before I left the Su family, I planned to steal this treasure? Because only with it can you be safe and sound. Once the exquisite heart stone is activated, it can immediately send the user away from the current area, and the distance is extremely far. With it, we can easily escape from the pursuit of the profound Sky sect and the Su family. It will become your life-saving treasure. Activating it is very simple. One person holds the stone and casts a spell, imbue chi into it, then place the stone on the other person's chest, and when the stone is activated, the other person will be sent away. Su Yun took the exquisite heart stone and smiled. Now I will imbue chi into the northern part of the stone and activate it. Let it bring you to the northern continent. There are no eyes of the profound Sky sect, no Su family there, you can live safely. Hearing that, Ching-er was completely stunned. Her face was pale white, her lips trembling, her eyes looked at Su Yun absent-mindedly, her tears had not dried yet. Young master, then what about you? Me? Su Yun was startled for a while, then laughed. I don't care, you being alive is better than anything, you are my everything. It was a simple sentence, but it was like a knife, completely cutting into Ching-er's heart. She was crazy, drunk, stupid, muddled. It was a suffocating feeling that made her heart stop beating. It was a complicated feeling that she had never felt before. She couldn't say it, but she realized that her life seemed to be changing as if it didn't belong to her anymore. She bit her lips and gripped the exquisite heart stone tightly. How can this be? She lowered her head and whispered. What's wrong? Su Yun asked with a light smile. But in the next second, the maid spread her arms and hugged him tightly from behind. She used all her strength to hug him tightly. Even though her slender arms could not wrap around Su Yun's wide waist, she still persisted in hugging him tightly, afraid that the man would leave in the next second. She leaned her head against the man's back, her tears falling like pearls from a broken necklace. But instead of crying, she was smiling. Ching-er will not leave, young master. Ching-er will not leave. Ching-er is young master's everything. Don't tell me that young master is not Ching-er's everything? Young master is willing to die for Ching-er, and Ching-er is also willing to die for young master. Young master. Ching-er. Ching-er likes you, do you know that? I've always liked you very much, very much, very much. Laughing and laughing, she started to cry again. Maybe it was only at this moment that she dared to confess, because she was afraid that she would never have the chance again. This time, it was Su Yun's turn to be stunned. He was afraid that he had heard wrongly, so he anxiously turned his head and looked at the girl behind him, only to see her lowering her head, her pale white face revealing a tinge of red. The pear blossom with tears was truly pitiful. Young master. I know, you always thought that I treated you well because I was repaying a debt of gratitude. Actually it's not. Ching-er. Ching-er really likes young master, so, when the girl said till here, she could not speak anymore. Pill King and Madame Purple Star blocked the demon girl, and the three of them started to fight. Su Yun took a deep breath. He felt that today's events were much more shocking than anything he had experienced in his previous life. But for some reason, his heart surged with joy. Was it because of Ching-er's feelings? He held Ching Er's hand even tighter. I understand now. Su Yun fiercely exhaled, and turned to look at Ching Er, his eyes filled with happiness. He looked at the girl, looked at her delicate little face for a moment, and finally pulled her into his embrace, hugging her tightly. Ching Er, thank you actually. I like you very much too, but I am no longer the Su Yun from before, not the Su Yun from before? Ching Er's eyes opened slightly, and looked at her young master in a daze. Su Yun's face hung a faint smile, and said, Ching Er, let's talk about the future in the future. What we need to do now is to resolve these dangers. Ching Er will not leave young master. Not waiting for Su Yun to finish, the girl interrupted him. She smiled gently, her charming face filled with determination. Su Yun was startled for a moment and quickly laughed. I understand, since it's like this, then forget it. These people came to attack Blossom Heart Valley today. In the end, they are all here for me, for my treasures. Since you are not willing to leave, then why not? Let me go. After I leave, these people will lose their target. Maybe it can be exchanged for a sliver of safety here. Hearing that, Ching Er immediately nodded her head like a chick pecking on rice, her small face finally revealing a trace of a smile. Come. Su Yun handed the exquisite heart stone to Ching Er, took a deep breath, and said, Do you know how to activate it? I said it just now. One person instills a technique to activate it, and then stick it on the other person's chest, sending the other person away, then. Now. Activate it, stick it on my chest, send me away. And Ching Er did not hesitate, and anxiously channeled her profound spirit chi into the stone. Voila! The exquisite heart stone was activated, and in a moment, a lustrous multicolored light appeared, and a dense and powerful profound spirit chi was released. Ching Er anxiously placed the exquisite heart stone on Su Yun's chest, both of her hands trembling slightly. She wanted to be careful, but she was extremely nervous. She raised her small face, looked at Su Yun, as though she wanted to remember Su Yun's face, but what entered her eyes was a weak, smiling face. He extended his big hand, held on to Ching Er's small hand, pressed it on his chest, closed his eyes and took a deep breath, then bent down, and gently kissed Ching Er's pink lips. Ching Er was dumbfounded. She quietly looked at the big face. Just then, she heard a weird sentence. If I am still alive, are you willing to wait for me? He asked gently. Alive? Ching Er's eyes widened. Suddenly, she thought of something, and anxiously looked at her small hand, only to see the exquisite heart stone erupting with a large amount of strange chi. This chi was like a shield. In a moment, it enveloped her delicate body. This chi. You lied to me, young master, you lied to me? Ching Er immediately understood. She was on the verge of collapsing. She anxiously threw the exquisite heart stone away, but the stone seemed to be one with her. She could not throw it away, she could not struggle free, and it became more and more intense. The light aura became stronger and stronger. No! Ching Er screamed her lungs out. She pounced over, hugging Su Yun tightly, tears streaming down her face, her shoulders twitching. Why did you lie to me? Why did you lie to me? Young master, why did you lie to Ching Er? Don't leave me, I beg you, don't be so heartless. The girl was heartbroken. She screamed frantically. She suddenly thought of something, and anxiously activated her profound spirit chi, wanting to disrupt her own profound spirit chi and stop the exquisite heart stone's activation, but, she painfully realized, young master was continuously using her hands to transfer profound spirit chi into her body, preventing her from stopping the treasure. So, everything young master had planned, he already knew that I would not leave, he already understood. If I am alive, wait for me, he said softly, as though it was his last words. Ching Er raised her head, looking at the smile on his pale white face, her fists clenched tightly. Young master, no matter what happens, I will find you. Don't think of throwing me off. The girl cried and shouted with determination. Unbearable pain. Hysterical. She was so ruthless. Why was she so stupid, to not be able to see through such a method? She seemed to have more to say, but at that moment, the exquisite heart stone was completely activated. Specks of light aura rippled out from the heart stone, covering her entire body, and her delicate body transformed into gold light, and started to dissipate into the sky, gradually disappearing. "Wait for me," someone's voice gradually came out from the sky. Su-Yun raised his head, looking at the place where the gold light disappeared. His face was unprecedentedly relaxed. At that moment, Qing Air finally broke free from the Su family's control, and finally broke free from the threat of the profound sky sect. She had obtained true freedom. And I have obtained true freedom. He released the hand on his chest, and turned to look, only to see Pill King and Madame Purple Star still fighting. The two of them could not hold on any longer. Pill King's face was extremely ugly, there were traces of blood on his body, it was obvious that he was injured. Although his medical knowledge was considered to be at the peak, but his fighting methods were still lacking, and Madame Purple Star was much stronger than him. "Old bones, you can't hold on any more?" The lady sneered, and suddenly waved her hand, causing light vines to emerge from the ground around Pill King, coiling towards him. Pill King's face turned white, he anxiously retreated, but the light vines were extremely fast, adding that his weapon was only a silver needle. It was difficult to break the technique. He was caught off guard, and was coiled around by the vines. "I'll send you to heaven." The lady snorted, and waved her hand again. Whoosh! A ray of green chi wave struck towards Pill King. "Be careful!" Madame Purple Star panicked, and rushed forward. Bang! The chi wave was dispersed by Madame Purple Star's staff, but Madame Purple Star's entire body trembled. It was obvious that she was at a disadvantage. What kind of strength does this lady have? How can she be so strong? Could she already be a spirit star realm cultivator? Kacha 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 kacha. Just then, Pill King broke free from the vines, seeing Madame Purple Star with blood at the corner of her mouth, and her expression of pain. Pill King's old face was filled with anger. He stared at the lady, his dusky yellow eyes filled with rage. He took out a pill from his storage ring, and stuffed it into his mouth. In that moment, Pill King's chi suddenly changed. It was originally spirit life chi that could penetrate into one's heart, but after the pill entered his stomach, it instantly transformed into the terrifying Scarlet Star chi. Attribute change. Using medicine to change the attribute of profound spirit chi, transforming the unsuitable spirit life chi into Scarlet Star chi. Seeing Pill King's actions, it was obvious that he wanted to fight to the death with this spirit demon woman. Just then, the spirit demon woman suddenly opened her mouth, and spat out circles of poison mist towards Pill King. The mist floated, and in a moment it covered Pill King's body. "Ah!" Pill King screamed. Before he could complete the transformation, he suddenly fell to the ground, his entire body's skin split open. "Senior Pill King!" Su-Yun's heart trembled, seeing Pill King in such a state, the hatred in his heart exploded, and his eyes became even redder. He held onto the death sword, taking advantage of the fact that the heavenly crystal's power had not dissipated. He took a deep breath, and with thousands of killing intent, he rushed forward. Chapter 194. So, the death sword flew over, although it did not contain much pure divine spirit chi, but in Su-Yun's anger, it contained an endless amount of killing intent. It was extremely imposing. The spirit woman sensed the incoming sword, turned her head and looked over. Seeing that Su-Yun still dared to make a move against her, she shook her head. "Are people so stupid? You want to make a move against me? All right then, I'll send you to the Western Paradise." In a moment, the spirit woman changed her target. With one hand forming a claw, she directly attacked Su-Yun. Her goal was the treasure on Su-Yun. She did not care about his life. If he died, it would be easier to retrieve the treasure. But, when the spirit woman attacked, Su-Yun was not afraid at all. He gathered the last bit of strength in the heavenly crystal, and fiercely attacked. He would not rest until he was dead. Qing Air was already safe. He had nothing to worry about. What was there to be afraid of? So many people had died for him, what was there to be afraid of? Even Senior Pill King was heavily injured, was he still going to retreat? With this determination, the death sword overflowed with an astonishing ominous aura. The sword tip trembled as it pierced towards the spirit woman. Dong! The spirit woman's white palm directly blocked the sword tip. A thick and valiant power exploded from the seemingly soft and boneless hand. Su Yun seemed to have used all of his strength, clashing with her. But, when the sword went down, something unexpected happened. The spirit woman seemed to have received an extremely strong attack. She was forced to retreat a few steps, her chi was in a mess, and her face changed. She was obviously at a disadvantage. What? Su Yun was startled. Although the heavenly crystal's power was still there, to say that it could force the spirit woman to retreat, that was an impossible matter. What was going on? Just as Su Yun was surprised, he suddenly felt a warm sensation on his back. He anxiously turned his head to look, only to see a young and charming girl dressed in a red Blademaster skirt, using her small hands to press against his back, her eyes slightly closed, her rosy lips slightly opened, as though she was doing something. The girl's appearance was not very old, probably around 11 or 12 years old. Although she looked very petite, her figure was exquisite and well-proportioned. She had a pair of furry fox ears that swayed gently, and a large white tail that swayed behind her fragrant buttocks incessantly. At this moment, her entire body was glowing with a bright red light. The thick and fierce profound spirit chi flowed through her delicate hands and into Su Yun's body. So that strike was actually the result of her help. Hu Qianmei! Su Yun was startled. Hu Qianmei slowly opened her eyes, her small face was filled with a cold intent. She put down her hands and walked in front of Su Yun. Her eyes were like knives as she stared at the spirit demon Dao woman. This aura! The demonic woman was stunned. Her eyes narrowed and her expression became serious. Su Yun was also stunned. He could clearly feel that the qi on Hu Qianmei's body was much stronger than before. This woman's cultivation had improved quite a bit again. It seemed that sharing his inherent skill had allowed her to gain a lot of benefits. At the very least, she was able to use the everlasting stone. Hu Qianmei pulled out the demon blade from her waist and shouted at the woman, "What kind of dog are you? You dare to touch my people? Only I can kill this person. Get lost." The spirit demon Dao woman looked at Hu Qianmei from head to toe and squinted her eyes. "Half human, half demon, I see that you have the blood of the demon race, and your strength is not bad. Why not join my spirit demon Dao and worship me as your master? I will give you glory, splendor, wealth, and longevity. How about it?" Seems like you did not hear what I said. Hu Qianmei revealed her teeth and laughed. "If you do not get lost, don't blame me for being impolite." "Then please be impolite to me," the spirit demon Dao woman said indifferently, as though she did not take Hu Qianmei seriously. "Very good." Hu Qianmei gripped the demon blade tightly, as though she was about to attack. But before she left, she did not forget to turn her head. "Leave quickly. Leave. This person is here for you. If you do not leave, you will be killed by them sooner or later. You and I share the same talent. If you die, I will also be crippled. So leave quickly and do not implicate me." So Hu Qianmei made a move because of the connection between the two of them. After she found out that Su Yun was hiding in Blossom Heart Valley, she rushed over from Mingying School. After all, if Su Yun died, she would not be any better. Thinking about that, Su Yun did not feel too grateful. Since Hu Qianmei made a move, it was for her own sake. The only thing he needed to do now was to escape. Madam Purple Star, quickly bring Senior Pill King away." Su Yun shouted to Madam Purple Star, who was still supporting the Pill King. With that said, he immediately turned and ran back. Seeing that Su Yun was about to leave, the spirit demon Dao woman's eyes turned cold. She immediately went past Hu Qianmei, intending to go straight for Su Yun. "Don't even think of hurting him," Hu Qianmei's delicate voice shouted out. The demon blade exploded and a strange power shot out from the blade tip towards the spirit demon Tao woman. The spirit demon Tao woman moved her fingers and a few green shields appeared, blocking Hu Qianmei's unceasing attacks. She seemed to know that Hu Qianmei was not easy to deal with. She only defended and did not kill, and chased after Su Yun. The heavenly crystal was about to disappear. He had to get rid of this woman before the heavenly crystal disappeared. Otherwise, his power would fade and he would be exhausted, making it difficult for him to escape. Su Yun brandished the death sword. He jumped onto the death sword and flew. The remaining power of the heavenly crystal was used on the death sword. He was like a black shooting star, flying far away. You will not escape so easily. The spirit demon Tao woman's face darkened. She took out a green hairpin from somewhere. She turned and spun over, throwing the hairpin towards Hu Qianmei. Chio! The hairpin suddenly became bigger, becoming more than 10 meters long. The sharp hairpin head pierced straight towards Hu Qianmei, who was chasing behind. Hu Qianmei anxiously held onto the demon blade and slashed at the hairpin. Clang! The hairpin was cut into pieces. The violent power caused the air to tremble. Hu Qianmei's strength was truly shocking. However, this was not the end. After the hairpin was cut into pieces, it split into 2 pieces. The 2 pieces of hairpin suddenly squirmed, quickly transforming into 2 hairpins in the air, and once again pierced towards Hu Qianmei. Huh! When had Hu Qianmei ever seen such a strange weapon? She anxiously swung the demon blade again. The blade images that filled the sky were like a flood that pounced forward, completely shattering the hairpin. However, the hairpin still did not retreat. After turning into pieces, all the pieces once again transformed into a thumb-sized hairpin and attacked Hu Qianmei. The hairpins that filled the sky were like raindrops. 1 split into 2, 2 split into 4, 4 split into 8. It was endless and endless. Damn it! Hu Qianmei scolded angrily. She grabbed onto the demon blade and slashed wildly. Her body was filled with blade images, crushing all the hairpins into pieces. Finally, the hairpin could not withstand Hu Qianmei's chaotic blade and completely disappeared. Just that at this moment, the spirit demon Tao woman had also gotten rid of her and attacked Su Yun. It was unknown what mystical technique the spirit demon Tao woman used. Her body once again transformed into a ball of demonic mist and quickly approached Su Yun. Even if Su Yun unleashed his maximum speed, he was still unable to get rid of her. If this continued, she would catch up to him sooner or later. Su Yun turned his head to look at the incoming demonic mist. His mind spun quickly. Suddenly, he thought of something and anxiously shouted, "Although I have the heavenly crystal, Sprite's shadow and monarch occult force, I still have other stronger treasures. If you kill me, you will only get these 3 treasures. You will definitely not be able to get the other treasures. So you can't kill me." With the spirit demon Tao woman's methods, if she got close to Su Yun, she would definitely be able to kill him. So what he needed to do now was to stall for time and fight for any chance of survival. Su Yun's strength was not high, but he continuously obtained treasures. Heavenly crystal, Sprite's shadow, everlasting stone, monarch occult force. These were all treasures that could make all righteous and evil people go crazy. If he said that he had even stronger and better treasures, how could anyone not believe him? You have other treasures? What treasure is it? The spirit demon Tao woman's stern voice came out from the demonic mist. 9 Emperor Seals. Seeing that the demonic mist was getting closer, Su Yun anxiously said. The spirit demon Tao woman seemed to have heard of this treasure before. She was startled for a moment, then said happily, 9 Emperor Seals. I never thought that you would actually have the 9 Emperor Seals. Good. Very good. Then, quickly hand over the 9 Emperor Seals, and I can spare your life. Spare my life? If I take out all these treasures, I will definitely die. In truth, the 9 Emperor Seals is not on me. If you want it, you cannot hurt me. Don't even think about it. the demonic mist suddenly increased its speed and rushed towards Su Yun, enveloping him. Su Yun, seeing that, Hu Qianmei, who was far away, turned pale with fright, and anxiously chased after him. But, after the demonic mist enveloped Su Yun, it swept him away and flew far away. Inside the demonic mist, Su Yun felt his entire body was sore and powerless. The pure divine spirit qi in his body seemed to be frozen. No matter what he did, he could not activate it. Not only that, even the spirit essences in his body were sealed by a thin layer of mist. At that moment, he did not even have the strength to truss a chicken. The spirit demon woman carried him and sprinted quickly in the sky, flying towards a barren mountain in the distance. He needed to leave quickly, if not his life would be in danger. Su Yun's eyes darted around, thinking of a way. What a dense spirit demon qi! Su Yun, quickly run! Quickly leave her! Just then, Ling Qingyu's voice slowly entered Su Yun's ears from the sword sheath. Su Yun was slightly annoyed. If I can leave, why wouldn't I? Ling Qingyu did not say anything. Just then, the demonic mist around him dispersed, and Su Yun was thrown onto the ground. He anxiously used his sword to support himself, stabilizing his body. Then, he raised his head to look at the demonic mist, only to see the demonic mist quickly gathering together, and very quickly, it formed into a graceful and beautiful woman. Su Yun's heart tensed up. He looked around, only to see that he was in a barren mountain. But this barren mountain was not normal. The ground around him was covered with terrifying corpses. Some of them were humans, some of them were beasts, and a gigantic demonic gate was not far from him, with two dual-headed demons standing guard in front of the gate. What is this place? Su Yun asked the spirit demon woman weakly. You don't have to care about that. The spirit demon woman turned her head, her eyes glistening as she stared at Su Yun, and said, Now, give me the heavenly crystal, sprite's shadow, monarch occult force, everlasting stone, and the 9 emperor seals. Quick! Chapter 195. Su Yun secretly thought for a moment, then raised his head. If I hand over these things, you're really willing to let me go? The spirit demon woman's expression was indifferent. Your cheap life is useless to me, I only want those treasures. If you want to live, hurry up and hand them over. You say that you don't want my cheap life, but how would I know what you're thinking in your heart? At that time, I forcefully snatched the sprite's shadow that was supposed to belong to you, so I'm afraid that you already hate me to the core? So, I won't believe your words. Su Yun supported his sword and laughed weakly. Hate? The spirit demon woman suddenly laughed out loud, her face filled with disdain and contempt. Human, you're too full of yourself. Who are you to be worthy of this princess's hatred? Don't overestimate yourself. Is that so? I'll ask you one last time and give you one last chance. Hand over those treasures, and I can spare your life. If you don't hand them over, I'll kill you on the spot. I can give you the other treasures, but the 9 emperor seals are not with me. Even if I wanted to, I can't give them to you. Su Yun shrugged his shoulders. Hearing that, the spirit demon woman's expression tensed up. The 9 emperor seals are the emperor seals refined by the ancient 9 emperors. Although after the passage of time, the seal's power has faded by more than half, but its power is still endless. If I can obtain the seal, I can definitely sweep through the world, sweep through the 8 wastelands, and be invincible. Let me ask you, where did you hide the 9 emperor seals? Have you heard of the Profound Sky Sect? Su Yun laughed. Profound Sky Sect? The spirit demon woman muttered, then asked, Where did you hide the 9 emperor seals in the Profound Sky Sect? I remember that when we were retrieving the sprite's shadow from the barren mountain of the exuding volcano, you guys said that you had already arranged for people to enter the Su family to investigate Limitless whereabouts, right? Then your people should know that the Su family and the Profound Sky Sect are closely linked, right? That's right, I once represented the Su family to visit the Profound Sky Sect, and secretly placed the 9 Emperor seals that I obtained by chance in the profound sky sect's forbidden grounds. The Emperor Chi of the 9 Emperor seals is too heavy, I am unable to control the treasure, and even more so, I am unable to suppress the Chi. Bringing it along with me will attract the attention of many experts, and my life will be in danger, so I quietly hid the 9 Emperor seals in the forbidden grounds of the profound sky sect. The profound sky sect's forbidden grounds Chi is very strong, and can easily cover the 9 Emperor seals' Chi, so no one will find it. So, if you want to obtain the 9 Emperor seals, you have to go to the profound sky sect. Of course, without me leading the way, the forbidden grounds are so big, you guys will not be able to find it. Su Yun lied with his eyes wide open. Profound sky sect. The demoness lowered her head and thought for a while. Something flashed in her green eyes. Whoosh! At this moment, the gigantic demonic gate in the distance was activated. A large amount of dense and peculiar aura leaked out from the demonic gate. This aura was the same as the aura emitted by the demon girl's array door in the barren mountain where the sprite's shadow was buried. Could it be that this array door was linked to another array door? Whoosh! An existence with the head of a bull walked out from the demonic gate. It had a sturdy body and was covered in armor. After it appeared, a large number of people who looked like birds and beasts in armor followed behind. The group of people walked to the front of the demoness and knelt down. They lowered their heads and shouted, "My supreme master, the bull demon king pays his respects to you. My master is eternal and undying." The other demonic beasts all shouted. Su Yun, who was standing at the side, pricked up his ears to listen, but he could not understand what they were saying. They were all using the spirit demon language, while Su Yun only understood the demonic language. "Qing Yu." Su Yun thought for a while, then called out in his heart. "What's wrong?" Ling Qing Yu asked. "Do you know what they are saying?" "The spirit demon language." Ling Qing Yu was a sword cultivator. She was powerful and had traveled extensively. She had seen more things than Su Yun, so she understood a little. "Translate it for me." "They are paying their respects to that lady. It seems like she is a princess of some big powerhouse of the spirit demon Dao." "That should be the case." "And that lady is asking them why they came from the spirit demon realm. They said that someone sent them, but they did not say who that person was." "Just that." "Yes, the lady seems to be getting impatient. It seems like she wants to get rid of you first. Is there no way to retreat now?" Su Yun secretly clenched his fists, his mind quickly thinking. "Su Yun, there is a way to live now, but there is a possibility." When Ling Qing Yu said that, she stopped talking, as though she was hesitating. Su Yun became anxious and immediately asked, "What method?" "Qing Yu, quickly tell me." "Although I can live, but it's no different from death." "No different from death?" "Yes, actually I just thought of this method. Look at the array door over there. That is actually the array door that connects the spirit demon realm to the sky martial continent. It should be set up by these people. This kind of array door is extremely complicated to set up, and with this lady's strength, she can only set up one. Looking at this array door, it will probably last for 3 days, but if we pass through it, we can enter the spirit demon realm." "You mean you want me to enter the spirit demon realm?" Su Yun laughed bitterly. "Then wouldn't I die even faster?" The spirit demon realm was her territory. "Of course not to enter the spirit demon realm." Ling Qing Yu shook her head. "There is a process to enter the spirit demon realm. You can grasp this process and try to escape." "Process?" Before Ling Qing Yu could finish, the spirit demon girl tilted her head. She ignored the demons and sneered at Su Yun. "First hand over the heavenly crystal, sprite's shadow, everlasting stone and monarch occult force to me. After that, bring me to find the 9 emperor seals. You must choose to believe me, if not, what awaits you is death." Seems like the lady was too lazy to discuss with Su Yun. Su Yun frowned, but did not say anything. Heavenly crystal, sprite's shadow, everlasting stone, monarch occult force, All these treasures were famous treasures in the entire Sky Martial continent, and it was normal for people to covet them. But, if he were to hand them over, then he would have nothing to rely on. Without the support of these treasures, he would be killed by the Sioux family and the profound Sky sect. What are you hesitating for? Are you still hesitating? The lady walked over slowly, as though she did not want to wait any longer. If Su Yun did not say that he still had the 9 emperor seals, she would have long dismembered him and taken the treasures herself. All right, I'll give it to you. Su Yun lowered his head and thought for a while, then raised his head and said. If this dragged on, what awaited Su Yun would be swords and blades. That's a smart person. The lady nodded her head. Su Yun undid the clothes on his chest, and took out a pendant that was hanging on his chest. Everlasting stone. It was a powerful item that could increase a person's talent. With the help of this item, a mediocre person could instantly become a genius. The lady's eyes lit up and anxiously walked over, wanting to snatch it. Then, just as she was about to walk over, Su Yun suddenly tightened his grip, and held the everlasting stone in his hands. The lady was startled. She raised her eyes to look at it, only to see Su Yun staring at her coldly. The killing intent and determination deep in his pupils was without a doubt. In that moment, the limitless sword sheath suddenly blossomed, and 10 swords flew out uniformly, flying towards the lady. The lady was enraged, her killing intent was revealed. She waved her hand, and a large jade-green shield enveloped her. The 10 swords landed on her body, but they were unable to break the shield, and were not damaged at all. What a daring ant! You dare to offend the princess! Die! The spirit demons were instantly enraged. All of them stared with their green eyes, and immediately raised their weapons and rushed towards Su Yun. The spirit demon chi leaked out, and the ground trembled from their steps. Su Yun did not hesitate, and used all his strength to rush towards the gigantic array door. Ha 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 ha! You want to escape through the spirit demon gate? Then you just have to escape. Enter the spirit demon realm. That is also my territory. You can't escape. Seeing Su Yun's actions, the lady immediately laughed. But in the next second, the slender sword sheath on Su Yun's back suddenly burst out with a strange energy. Following that, a white light overflowed from inside, and instantly enveloped Su Yun. A strange chi that was similar to the spirit demon gate leaked out. The lady smelled it, her smile froze, and she was stunned. This is the void cleaving technique? No. Impossible, this brat definitely doesn't know about this mysterious technique. But if it's not him? This void cleaving technique. Where did it come from? The lady clenched her teeth and shouted, Quick! Quickly capture him for me. Quick! Yes, princess. All the demons from all directions rushed towards the spirit demon gate. But Su Yun's action was too fast, he was too daring. No one thought that he would be so daring, to actually make a move on Su Yun in front of so many demons. It was truly unprepared. The 2 demons standing in front of the door moved, and with heavy steps, they moved towards Su Yun to block him. Giant rock spirit nucleus. Su Yun opened his eyes, and instigated a bit of profound spirit chi to activate the treasure in his eyes. A gray light struck one of the demons, and the demon immediately turned into a statue. Dong! The other demon had already attacked. Su Yun anxiously dodged, but his lower abdomen was injured, blood flowed out and he flew out. He rolled twice on the ground, seeing that the spirit demon gate was right in front of him, and the surrounding demons were shouting and the sound of mystical techniques breaking through the air. He did not dare hesitate and pounced towards the spirit demon gate. Gotcha! Just as he neared the spirit demon gate immediately burst out with ear-piercing shrieks and laughter. Ha 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 ha! It was as though there were tens of thousands of spirit demons twisting around his ears. His vision turned green, and a strange phenomenon appeared. Su Yun felt as though his soul was being pulled by something, wanting to leave his body. His body became light, and was moving at a high speed. What's going on? Su Yun asked, and felt his consciousness getting weaker and weaker. Su Yun. Quick, activate the everlasting stone, guard your mind, and do as I say. Quickly escape. Just then, Ling Qingyu's anxious voice came out. Hearing that, Su Yun's body twitched and anxiously moved, but, just as he was about to raise his qi, he realized that his body was empty, and a wave of powerlessness surged up. Shit, the heavenly crystal's power was exhausted, and my qi channels were dried up. Su Yun's heart thumped. But in the next second, a pure and gentle qi surged out from the sword sheath. It was like a small stream, gently flowing into the dried-up qi channels, and replenishing his dried-up body. Su Yun did not dare hesitate, and anxiously activated the everlasting stone, and the fuzzy and drowsy consciousness immediately woke up. He immediately understood what was going on. Qingyu Yu. Ling Qingyu's anxious and weak voice came out. I am only repaying the kindness of the Sword Ancestor, since you are the inheritor of the Limitless Sword Sect. How can I just stand by and watch? Quickly do it. I have already accumulated the chant for the secret technique Void Cleaving Void, and now that the chant is complete, it is contained in this power. You only need to use your sword, and you will definitely be able to escape, but you will also accidentally enter other realms, but it doesn't matter. No matter what kind of ferocious realm you enter, at least you will be able to survive temporarily. Quickly, Su Yun, quickly do it, or else we will reach the spirit demon realm. Hearing that, Su Yun's heart sank. How could he dare to hesitate? Raising the death sword, he waved it in the air. Voila! The sword tip released a ray of white light, instantly tearing the void in front of him. Following that, a pitch-black hole appeared. Once the hole appeared, he entered it and disappeared. The demonic laughter stopped abruptly. The endless night was about to arrive. Chapter 196. Su Yun. A pitch-red figure flew over from the horizon, like a rainbow piercing through this place. After he landed on the ground, he screamed. The lady who was preparing to return to the spirit demon realm turned and glanced at Hu Qianmei, who was walking over. Her footsteps slowed down. What did you do to Su Yun? Hu Qianmei's small hands held onto the demon blade tightly. She leaned closer and asked while clenching her teeth. Su Yun? So his name is Su Yun. The spirit demon Dao woman's pale face revealed a trace of coldness. Her gaze was like a sword as she said, I will dismember his body into 10,000 pieces and extract his soul. Seeing the lady's gloomy expression, Hu Qianmei, who was originally burning with anxiety, suddenly relaxed. She patted her full chest and heaved a sigh of relief. Seems like that bastard ran away. But he can't run far, the lady said indifferently. Hu Qianmei was startled. What do you mean? The lady's actions were elegant. Her hands were behind her back, and her slender fingers were clasped together. An ant like him, other than using some treasures, what other abilities does he have? If he wants to escape from my hands, what else can he do here? What method? Hu Qianmei's eyes swept around, looking around, only to see that the barren mountain was extremely big, and he was at the highest point, flying in the air. He could see everything below. There was no place to hide. If he wanted to rely on his legs to escape, to Su Yun, it was simply a fantasy. Suddenly, Hu Qianmei's gaze landed on a gigantic array door not far away. The array door had already been opened. A large amount of green light leaked out. A round halo spiraled around the door like a whirlpool. Hissing sounds leaked out from within. Inside the halo, one could see a large number of strange and dazzling, sinister and terrifying faces. This qi? Splitting the void? Is this a void door that leads to other realms? Hu Qianmei asked with a congealed face. We are spirit demon Dao people. Naturally, we have to rely on this to enter the sky martial continent. If it was like the demonic continent, I'm afraid your sky martial continent would have long ceased to exist. The lady said indifferently. He went to your spirit demon realm? If he really went, he would have died long ago. Hearing that, Hu Qianmei's face turned cold. She did not say a word. She sensed that something was wrong. This world was extremely huge. Other than the Martial Sky continent, there were other continents. It was said that in the south, there was another continent that was not weaker than the Martial Sky continent or the Demonic Devil continent. However, there weren't many records of that continent and not many people cared about it. However, compared to this, people were more concerned about the other realms other than the Sky Martial continent. Because other than the Sky Martial continent there were 9 other realms. They were the Demon Realm, Ghost Realm, Beast Realm, Spirit Realm, Insect Realm, Blood Realm, Ancestral Heart Realm, Small Realm and Evil Realm. Each of the 9 great mirage worlds was more mysterious than the last, each more terrifying than the last. Apart from the almighty beings who could control the void-splitting secret technique, normal people would not be able to enter. Thus, the Sky Martial continent had very little information about the 9 great mirage worlds. It was rumored that there were many tyrants in the 9 great mirage realms, especially in the small realms. It was rumored that many peerless experts who had disappeared from the Sky Martial continent had gone to the small realms in search of higher realms. As for the other realms, they were all slaughtering realms. The weak were prey to the strong, and the strong were respected. For those with weak cultivation, entering the other realms was equivalent to seeking death. That reckless Su Yun actually used my demon gate to escape. Originally, I thought he just wanted to escape into the demon realm to avoid me, but I was wrong. This person actually knew the void-splitting secret technique. In the process of entering the demon realm, he forcefully opened the door to another realm and escaped into another realm. He really doesn't know what's good for him. The spirit demon woman used materials and a secret technique to lock onto the coordinates of the Sky Martial continent. That was how she could directly enter the Sky Martial continent from the demon realm. But for Ling Qingyu to suddenly use the void-splitting secret technique without any preparation, it was extremely rushed and unprepared. It was unknown which realm she entered. But there was no doubt. It must be one of the 9 mirage worlds. Hu Qianmei's face was extremely pale. Her delicate body retreated a few steps and her large fox tail drooped on the ground. Each of the 9 mirage worlds was more terrifying than the last. With Su Yun's strength, entering the 9 mirage worlds was no different from death. Su Yun must die. Although I am unhappy that I cannot obtain the treasures, it is not important. I will find his corpse. As for you, the lady's eyes revealed a glimmer of light. She said indifferently, although you have offended me time and time again, I will not bother about it. You have the blood of the demon clan, so you belong to the demon realm. I see that your strength is not bad. If you kneel down and submit to me, I will not kill you. Instead, I will give you everything you want. Is that so? Hu Qianmei's pale face suddenly relaxed. Her eyes squinted and her mouth curved into a crafty smile. She seemed to be interested. Then can you help me destroy the Immortal Sword sect? Plop! A man fell from the sky and fiercely landed on the ground. After that, he did not move. After a long while, he opened his eyes. Am I dead? That was the first thought in Su Yun's mind after he woke up. Then, the bone-chilling cold wind blew on his face, causing him to sober up. He anxiously sat up and looked around. It was dark and gloomy. Everywhere was filled with black rocks. There was nothing. Other than the cold wind, there was no other sound. Su Yun took a deep breath. He took out the sword sheath and knocked on it. He asked, Qingyu, how are you? Are you okay? However, Ling Qingyu did not reply. Previously, she had helped Su Yun to use the contracted victory sword. She had already used up half of her strength. Now that she had used her secret technique to cut through the void, how could she have any strength left? She had probably fallen into a deep slumber to recover her energy. Su Yun tried his best to stand up and walked forward. This was probably not the Sky Martial continent. Then, where was this place? How could he leave? Su Yun's mind was in a mess. He felt extremely lost. Looking around, it was still desolate and quiet. Helpless, he could only choose to sit on a relatively clean black rock. He sat cross-legged and recovered his chi. Using the heavenly crystal and the sprite's shadow, the chi in his body was extremely weak. If not for the everlasting stone and monarch occult force giving his body some toughness, his heart would have been crushed by the turbulent, profound spirit chi. He would have died instantly. Just as he sat cross-legged, Su Yun felt that something was wrong. In the sky martial continent, cultivators could absorb the spirit chi in the air to soothe their own chi channels. They could nourish and stimulate their own spirit essences to produce profound spirit chi. But here, it felt weird. Here, the spirit chi was extremely thin. But there was a type of spirit chi that filled the entire space. What chi is this? Su Yun did not understand. But as matters stood, he had no other choice. If he did not absorb the chi, if he did not recover his chi, if he did not recover his strength, how could he survive in this strange place? How could he return to the sky martial continent? He made a decision. Without hesitation, he directly absorbed the chi. He planned to understand the characteristics of the chi. Then, he scattered the chi in his chi channels. But when the chi entered his chi channels, there was a change. But after the chi entered the meridian, it immediately turned pitch black, and wherever it passed through, the chi meridian turned pitch black, and at the same time, a change occurred in Su Yun's heart. A ruthless, painful, and crazy feeling surged up. He broke out in cold sweat. He anxiously stopped what he was doing. He sealed his spirit essences to prevent the chi from entering his spirit essences. But, when the spirit essences were sealed, the chi that was absorbed into his body became crazy and started to scatter everywhere. Dong, dong, dong. The chi was like a fist, bombarding all the chi channels and blood vessels in his body. It caused Su Yun's blood to boil. He was in extreme pain. What the hell is this? His body twitched. He fell to the ground and clenched his teeth. No, I need to force this thing out. Such a strange chi. If I absorb too much, I'm afraid it would have broken out of my body? Su Yun endured the pain and sat up. He activated the sparse amount of profound spirit chi in his body, wanting to expel it out. However, he was already exhausted. His profound spirit chi had not recovered much, so how could he force the weird chi out of his body? It was truly easy to invite a god in, but hard to send him away. Just when Su Yun was at his wit's end, the monarch occult force in his heart suddenly activated. A warm flow gushed out and quickly spread to all the chi channels and spirit essences. Su Yun was startled. The warm flow that leaked out from the monarch occult force was like a big hand. It quickly wrapped around the turbulent pitch-black chi and pinched it into one point. Then, it fiercely smashed onto the walls of the chi channels. Following that, the warm flow started to fuse with the pitch-black chi. It started to twist and rub against it. The pain in his body disappeared without a trace. Instead, a cool and comfortable feeling surged into his heart. What's going on? Su Yun was startled. Spirit Essences Transformation. Just when he was confused, Ling Qingyu's voice came out again. Hearing that, Su Yun was startled. He immediately asked, "Qingyu, are you all right?" "I'm just exhausted." Ling Qingyu's voice was still weak. "I originally wanted to rest and recover, but I sensed that you seemed to be in some trouble, so I took a look. I never thought that you would have such luck." "Luck? What luck?" "The treasure embedded in your chest is called Monarch Occult Force, right? Tisk, it's truly an amazing thing. I wonder how this treasure was born." "Monarch Occult Force? I feel that it contains an extremely strong energy inside. This energy seems to be able to affect profound spirit chi. Now, it is releasing this energy to help you create a new spirit essence." "A new spirit essence? This is a spirit essence?" "Yes, it's an evil spirit essence." "Evil spirit essence? Evil spirit essence? Could this be the evil realm?" Su Yun was shocked. "That's right." Ling Qingyu sighed. I never thought that after splitting open the void, the most troublesome evil realm would appear. I'm afraid it won't be easy to get out. Can't you use your secret technique again to return to Sky Marshall Continent? I can, but I need to wait for me to recover, and I need to find a large number of items to use it. If I don't use it, and just casually use it, we will only be running around in the 9 realms. No one knows where we will end up after splitting open the void. Is that so? Su-Yun was quiet for a moment, then he sat down cross-legged and looked at the chi channels in his body. He saw that the strange chi in the chi channels had completely disappeared. Even the monarch occult force had calmed down. What replaced it was a date-sized pitch-black imprint. Black chi was being emitted from it. This black chi was demonic, cruel, ruthless, cold. It was completely different from the 5 elemental chi and pure divine spirit chi. This is evil chi? Evil chi is not its full name. It doesn't have a fixed name, but it is the source of chi that the strong martial artists of the evil realm rely on to survive, just like the spirit chi in Sky Marshall Continent. It can only be absorbed by the evil realm people, but you have the monarch occult force. You can also absorb it. Su-Yun, do you know what that means? When she said the last sentence, Ling Qingyu's tone was extremely solemn. Chapter 197. Including the human realm, there are a total of 10 realms, and other than the special small worlds, the evil realm is the most peculiar. Evil chi is the only baleful chi that is comparable to demonic chi. Although it is ruthless and cold, the evil chi is slightly weaker, but the evil chi is more strange, it is unpredictable and ever-changing. Every strand of evil chi has its own consciousness, it is not human, but it is a spirit, just like demonic chi. When it comes in contact with other attributed chi, its spirituality will explode, it will disregard everything and attack, only stopping when it dies. But the evil chi is different, it is more proficient in attacking the weak points, it is ever-changing and unscrupulous. Every attribute of profound spirit chi is different, its characteristics are also different, there is no one profound spirit chi that is the strongest, and there is no one that is the weakest, it all depends on how the person uses it. Su-Yun, do you know that you already possess the Limitless Sword Sect's most unique pure divine spirit chi, and with the support of the monarch occult force, you are already able to use 6 different attributes of profound spirit chi, and now, in the evil realm, with the help of the monarch occult force, you can even create evil spirit essences, which also means, in the future, you can even use the evil spirit chi. 7 types of energy. Gathering them all in one body, I do not dare to imagine. Speaking till here, Ling Qinyu was already extremely emotional, her words were filled with surprise. Even Su-Yun could not imagine there was actually such a mystical thing. 7 different types of energy gathered in one body, how astonishing would the result be? How mystical was it? This situation is truly something that only a person with great luck can have. Su-Yun, your luck is different from others. Strong luck is also a type of strength, usually speaking. A person with 2 types of chi is already very rare. You are definitely one of a kind, but you must remember, training must be extremely hard. Do not slack off, others work hard to train. You must work 7 times harder than them, that way. You will not let your 7 types of profound spirit chi go to waste. People say that learning too much, if you do not stick to it, it will become chaotic. You have 7 types of energy. The most important thing is not to let them become mediocre, but to let them become exquisite. Remember, Ling Qinyu said weakly. Hearing her weak voice, Su-Yun's heart moved. He immediately nodded and said seriously, I will remember. Train well, the Limitless Sword Sect hopes to see the light of day again in your hands. With that, Ling Qinyu's voice gradually disappeared. Su-Yun sat quietly on the spot for a while, looking at the bead embedded in his heart. He fiercely spat out a mouthful of impure chi, and continued to absorb the strange chi in the air. Since he had already entered the evil realm, and since there was only this power left, then, he would obtain it, power was the most basic form of protection. Actually, what Ling Qingyu said was not entirely correct. Although he possessed 7 different types of profound spirit qi, she had overlooked one point. Su Yun still had the everlasting stone and Hu Qian Mei's special physique. His current talent was already 7 times higher than an ordinary person. Cultivating would be twice the result with half the effort. However, he was not satisfied. Just relying on his talent was far from enough. To some people, they had an absolute factor to suppress Su Yun. That was time. Life forms that were born later in the world were unfair, because the life forms that were born earlier than them had already become the supreme gods. They monopolized all resources and controlled all the factors. Even the lives of these life forms were firmly held in their hand. Currently, Su Yun was no longer in a rush to overthrow the Profound Sky sect and the Su family. Qing had gone to the northern continent, and he believed that the Profound Sky sect and the Su family would not be able to find her easily. Qing was temporarily safe, but he still had to train hard and leave the evil realm alive. He sat cross-legged and carefully absorbed. He did not dare to absorb too much at one go, since he was still unfamiliar with the evil spirit qi. He needed to slowly grasp its laws, understand its movements, and after familiarizing himself with it, he would gradually increase the amount. When the qi entered his qi channels, it dyed the qi channels pitch black, and the qi channels became extremely cold. But very quickly, the pitch-black evil spirit qi was released by the monarch occult force and combined with the mystical power inside the qi walls, transforming into evil spirit essences with eye patterns. During the process of transformation, Su Yun did not forget to check on the monarch occult force. Although he had obtained the monarch occult force, he did not know much about it. This thing that could allow a person's profound spirit qi to carry 5 mystical powers, how did it appear? Where did the people from the Congregate of Treasures sect obtain such a powerful treasure? Other than that, what about the everlasting stone? How did it appear? Su Yun only knew a little about the heavenly crystal and the sprite's shadow. It was said that the 2 of them were parts of the divine weapons, and by themselves, they contained powerful might. With the qi being absorbed, Su Yun carefully activated it, coordinating with the monarch occult force to transform the evil spirit essences. When the evil spirit essences appeared, the first thing he had to do was to familiarize himself with them and understand their functions. Su Yun did not know why the monarch occult force could not transform spirit qi into spirit essences in Sky Martial Continent, but here it was obvious that it was more useful. The evil spirit essences that were attached to the qi walls were extremely weak. Compared to the other spirit essences around Su Yun, and even the earth spirit essences, they were extremely weak. They were like little black seeds, while the other spirit essences were like huge trees that could support the sky. Although the spirit essences had completed their transformation, they were still unable to produce evil spirit qi. The monarch occult force was like a hand that created a human. It gathered the evil spirit qi together to form a body, and then gave it a heart, transforming it out. So powerful! Su Yun, who looked into the evil spirit essences, could sense the profoundness within, and immediately gasped in surprise. If the evil spirit essences were transformed to a certain amount, it could definitely produce an astonishing amount of evil spirit qi. Maybe in Sky Martial Continent, evil spirit qi was a taboo force, but he could not care so much. Rules were set by the strong, and only the strong could survive. Thus, Su Yun started to greedily transform the evil spirit essences. He wanted to plant seeds in his body, and when the seeds germinated and grew stronger, he could enrich himself. Of course, for these transformed spirit essences, before he was familiar with them, it was better not to use them recklessly, in case something unexpected happened. After 5 days of hard work, through the transformation of the monarch occult force, not only did Su Yun obtain more than 60 evil spirit essences, his own qi channels and spirit essences were also replenished, and his qi had returned. His entire body started to leak out traces of evil chi. Of course, if one did not look carefully, one would not be able to sense it. Furthermore, the heavenly scale divine eye could completely block out the evil chi, so Su Yun did not have to worry. He opened his eyes on the big rock and looked around. Jumping off the big rock, he slung the sword sheath, pulled out the death sword and thousand deep sword, and carefully advanced forward. This place was desolate and barren. It was not a place to stay for long. Su Yun was currently only at the peak of the Spirit Intermediate Disciple realm, and had not reached the Spirit Star realm, where he could not even touch a single drop of water or grain of rice. He still needed to rely on food to fill his stomach. In the past, he could still refine some pills to fill his stomach, but here, he did not know what he could eat. Su Yun stepped forward, his mental state was at its peak. He looked around cautiously. Once there was any movement, he would retreat without any delay. The sky was dusky, the ground was extremely muddy, and it was filled with black water. It was as though after a heavy rain, there were strange rocks in the distance, but there were no signs of life. His ears could only hear the howls of evil spirits in the wind. Suddenly, there was the sound of a small stream flowing from afar. Su Yun was startled, but he quickly ran over, only to see a 2 m wide black river flowing in front of him. The river was pitch black, flowing at a fast speed, and there were many small water splashes in the river. Seeing that, Su Yun felt weird, and went closer to the river to look. Of course, he was thinking if there was anything in the river that could fill his stomach. Although it was the evil realm, there should be something edible, right? If not, he would not be able to stay here. Huh! Just at that moment, a strange phenomenon happened. But the murky black river slowly became clear, gradually becoming clear and clean. Everything in the river could be seen clearly. Plump fresh fish, naive river turtles, and a large number of spirit snails. These were all delicacies for non-spirit cultivators, and to low cultivation spirit cultivators, they were the best ingredients for delicacies. Su Yun was startled. Why would there be such things in the river? He stretched his head out to look, only to see his own reflection in the river. At that moment, his face was pale white, revealing a look of shock. Everything was fine, why would the river be like this? Was the evil realm like this? Changing constantly? He did not understand, and had no idea what was going on. Just at that moment, Su Yun's reflection in the river suddenly opened his mouth, revealing a strange smile. Su Yun was shocked, but before he could react, he heard a whooshing sound, and 2 sinister hands extended out from the river, directly wrapping around his head. Both hands grabbed onto Su Yun's neck, and frantically exerted strength, wanting to pull him down. Ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha, food! Food! The evil being let out a mournful laugh. Unexpectedly, Su Yun could actually understand what it was saying. It did not seem to be a simple sound wave, but a mental message. But at that moment, he could not care so much. Su Yun anxiously raised his 1,000-deep sword, and attacked the evil being. Whooshing, whooshing, whooshing. A strange phenomenon occurred. 1,000-deep sword exploded out from Su Yun's astonishing power, and when it flew towards the strange evil being, it was once again blocked by the pitch-black colored water. The force on top was completely dissipated, and when it landed on the evil being's body, it did not have much destructive power. What the hell is this? Su Yun clenched his teeth, his heart filled with anger. He instigated his profound spirit chi, grabbed onto the evil being's arms, and used his strength, wanting to pull it out of the water. The evil being's cultivation level was not high, roughly at the 3rd stage of the Spirit Core Disciple. Although it launched a sneak attack on Su Yun's reaction was fast, and in this short period of time, he actually managed to pull the evil being out of the water. Such great strength! Ha 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 ha, it will definitely be delicious to eat later, ha 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 ha. The evil being was not the least bit flustered, and instead let out a mournful and savage laugh. Then, he heard the splashes of water coming out from the surrounding river, and a large number of pitch-black evil beings with 2 blue eyes came out of the water. They let out mournful shrieks and surrounded Su Yun. Shit! Su Yun knew something was wrong, and let go of the evil being's hands, and anxiously grabbed onto the death sword, intending to kill it. But just at this time, for some reason, the death sword unsheathed itself. With a cling-chong sound, the death sword flew out by itself, and with a strange arc, it slashed horizontally towards the evil beings. The sharp and desolate sword edge drew a pitch-black crescent, and in a moment, the evil beings were beheaded. Kacha, the evil beings all fell to the ground. And the evil being in front of Su Yun also died, and the pitch-black hand that was grabbing onto his neck also slowly softened. The air was still filled with the vibrating sound of the sword whistling. Cold, sharp, bone-chilling, ear-piercing. The unspeakable might of the sword was 100 times more tyrannical than usual. 1 slash to kill? Su Yun was shocked. Since when was the death sword so strong? He watched as the death sword circled in the air, and directly pierced into the back of an evil being. Half of the sword blade pierced into the body, and a burst of evil force was released. On the sword blade, a large blood-red death word flashed continuously, glistening with light. That appearance was like a lion that was eating. Chapter 198. Gudong, Gudong, Gudong. A strange sound came out from the pitch-black sword body. The death sword's light aura flickered continuously, like an oil lamp being blown by the wind. It was bright and dark. Very quickly, the bodies of the evil beings became thinner and thinner, like dried salted fish. The death sword's red light also became stronger and stronger. It automatically flew out and pierced into another evil being's body, and continued to greedily absorb. Su Yun only felt that as it absorbed, the indescribable cold intent on its surface became stronger and stronger. The death sword was an extremely special sword. It was originally a sub-sword, but after defeating close to 100 swords, it became a primal sword, controlling 100 swords. It had a spirituality that the other swords could not compare to, but what was it doing now? Was it absorbing the evil chi from the evil beings? Why did the death sword need the evil chi? Could it be that it could strengthen itself? Su Yun's mind was filled with suspicions. He walked over and pulled out the death sword. Clang! The death sword did not dare disobey Su Yun. Since he was the master, it easily pulled it out from the evil being's body. A large amount of evil chi flowed out and floated into the sky. Looking at the death sword, the blood-red death word became even more demonic. The pitch-black sword body became even colder. A large amount of evil chi revolved around the sword body, difficult to disperse. Su Yun held onto the sword hilt, feeling that it was getting colder. He took a deep breath, looked at the death sword's sword body, and suddenly swung his hand. Hua! A pitch-black wave shot out from the death sword's sword body, sticking close to the ground and rushing into the distance. Wherever the wave passed, regardless of whether it was wood or stone, it would all turn into fine powder. It was extremely terrifying. Seeing that, Su Yun sucked in a breath of cold air. I never thought that the death sword could actually absorb evil chi to increase its power. No wonder Qin Yu and the Sword Elder said that it was an extremely evil sword. Su Yun's eyes turned. After thinking for a moment, he walked over and pierced the death sword towards the other evil beings' bodies, allowing the death sword to absorb. Very quickly, the evil beings' bodies were like dried corpses. The evil chi inside were completely absorbed, and the death sword's surface was also covered with evil chi, like a regiment of black flames. Keeping the death sword back into the sword sheath, Su Yun continued walking. After walking for about half a day, a black forest appeared in front of Su Yun's eyes. The forest was huge, almost covering the entire area in front of him. Seeing that there was nowhere else to go, he could only bite the bullet and enter the forest. The light in the forest was even dimmer, and he could often hear strange croaking sounds. It seemed to be the sound of a special kind of evil bird. After the battle just now and the long journey, Su Yun's stomach was rumbling with hunger. He had to find something to replace food to fill his stomach. If not, he would not starve to death. If he met any evil beings again, he would not even have the strength to fight. After advancing for an unknown period of time, Su Yun saw a large number of pitch-black chi threads. Su Yun raised his head and looked at the chi threads that were swaying in the air like spirit snakes, only to see that their source was the fruits hanging on the treetops. These fruits were pitch-black, but there was a terrifying human face on the surface. It was strange and hard to find, and when one approached the fruit, one could hear a hair-raising laughter. What is this? He looked around, only to realize that this place was different. Around the fruits, there were actually a few broken enchantments and array remains. Furthermore, there were blood-red runes on the tree trunks, which seemed to be the words that the evil realm people used. Is there anyone living here? Su Yun thought. You don't seem to be from the evil realm. Just as Su Yun was feeling suspicious about his surroundings, a hoarse voice came out from behind him. Su Yun's entire body was perspiring in cold sweat. When did the person appear behind him? He anxiously turned around, holding onto the death sword and thousand deep sword tightly. He looked towards the source of the voice, only to see a tanned, tall and sturdy middle-aged man standing behind him. He was wearing a cape, and in his hand was a broken blade. Propped up on the ground, his entire body was leaking evil chi. Seeing that the man did not have any ill intentions, Su Yun's anxious state of mind calmed down, but his vigilance did not drop. He stared at the man and asked, "Who are you?" "Who am I?" Then who are you? Why did you come to my territory?" "Territory?" Su Yun did not understand. "You seem to be a human?" The middle-aged man in the cape raised his head, carefully looking at Su Yun, only to see a pair of pitch-black eyes under the cape. "Then, do you want to kill me?" Su Yun raised both of his swords and said softly, "If you want to take my life, then make your move." He had already secretly activated the heavenly scale divine eye, and realized that the opponent was merely a 10th stage spirit novice disciple. It would be easy to kill him, but was the opponent's cultivation really that weak? That should not be possible. With such a low cultivation level, how could he appear in a place like this? Who knew that at this time? The man laughed out loud. "Human! I am merely a 10th stage spirit novice disciple evil being. You are much stronger than me in terms of cultivation level. Do you think I can kill you?" "Ha ha ha ha! Oh!" Su Yun's eyes congealed, and did not speak anymore. He looked around and turned to leave. "Human, are you leaving?" "If I'm not leaving, what are you staying here for?" Although my strength is weak, but to be honest, in the evil realm, I am still a lowly being. With your strength, if you continue to walk, your soul will be stolen, your body will be occupied, and you will become an evil being, and your consciousness will disappear forever." The middle-aged man in the cape pointed to the depths of the forest and laughed. "Do you know where this is? This is the most famous soulless forest in the evil realm." "Soulless forest?" "Yes. Stealing the soul, without a soul or spirit." Speaking till here, the man paused and continued. "Of course, if you are looking for death, you can continue forward. Once you pass through the soulless forest, you will reach the shrine of evil spirits that everyone yearns for." "Hee, don't tell me you are also greedy for the treasures in the shrine of evil spirits? You are really an ant trying to shake a tree, overestimating yourself. With your cultivation level, once you get close to the shrine of evil spirits, you will be devoured by the shrine of evil spirit." "Shrine of evil spirits? What is that?" Su Yun did not understand what the man was talking about. He thought for a while, then said, "So the shrine of evil spirits is so scary, I give up, I'm not going, but I seem to be lost, I don't know the way back. I hope Senior can give me some pointers. How do I leave this place?" I have seen a few people who came to search for the shrine of evil spirits, but they were all buried in the evil realm. If you do not return to your human realm, You will only be treated as food by the evil beings here. Su Yun was silent. Haha, seems like you really don't know the way back, then just wait for your death. But kid, don't be too desperate, if you want to leave, I can help you. Help me? Su Yun frowned. You are an evil being too, right? If you are an evil being, why would you help me for no reason? Your vigilance is not bad, I have a reason to help you. The middle-aged man laughed. Kid, if you are willing to help me, I can tell you the way to leave this place. Help you? What help? Su Yun asked. Although he did not trust the evil realm being who appeared out of nowhere, but as matters stood, he had to grab hold of any chance to return to Sky Marshall Continent. First, go and retrieve a treasure from the Shrine of Evil Spirits for me. As a reward, I will tell you the way to return to your human realm. What do you think? You just said that I can't get close to the Shrine of Evil Spirits. Naturally, with your current cultivation, you are indeed unable to get close to the shrine, but if you use my method, you will have a high chance of retrieving the treasure. Although it will take a lot of time, but if you are willing, not only can you successfully leave the evil realm, your cultivation will also increase greatly, and your strength will soar. Hearing that, Su Yun's mind spun quickly. Without a doubt, what the man said was extremely dangerous. If he did as he said, he would most likely lose his life, but if he did not do as he said, how was he going to return to Sky Marshall Continent? Rely on the method that Ling Qin you said? She also said that he needed to find the materials to set up the array door, then he could use the Void Cleave secret technique to return. And to search for the materials, he would most likely have to wander the entire evil realm, which was even more dangerous. If he met a strong evil being, he would not even have the chance to escape. There was nowhere to go, and nowhere to go, so for the time being, he would listen to him. The man's cultivation was so weak, if it was too dangerous, he would just give up. He could not do anything to him. Su Yun thought, then nodded. All right. I'll help you retrieve the item. You help me leave the evil realm. You will not regret this decision of yours. The middle-aged man laughed sinisterly. Follow me, human, follow me into the black evil cave mansion. I will tailor a set of suitable materials for you to refine. Refine? Yes, only people with dense evil chi can enter that place. I want to bestow your profound spirit chi with strong evil chi. Then why don't you find an evil realm being to do this for you? Ha 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 ha, evil realm being? No no no. There are many evil realm beings that come to the Soulless Forest, but I do not dare to interact with any of them. I only dare to interact with you people from the other realms, because compared to you, evil realm beings are the scariest. Then what about the Black Evil Cave Mansion? What is that place? Are there no evil realm beings? That is an almighty being's cave mansion. There are many evil realm beings there. In that almighty being's cave mansion, no evil realm being dares to mess around, so there's no need to worry. What we need to do now is to exchange for the things we want from the hands of those evil realm beings. After saying that, the middle-aged man plucked a pitch-black fruit with a human face on it from one of the strange trees. His sinister smile suddenly turned solemn. After plucking the fruit, he carefully placed it on the ground. Then, he knelt on the ground and kowtowed to the fruit 9 times in a serious and respectful manner. Then, he held the fruit with both hands, muttering evil words. It seemed to be some kind of ceremony. When it was over, he carefully placed the fruit into the bag on his back, holding onto the broken blade. He smiled at Su Yun. Come. Su Yun nodded. The two of them left the place, heading towards a gigantic mountain peak in the south. Chapter 199. It was a gigantic mountain. The entire mountain peak resembled a gigantic skull. It was said that this mountain peak was the almighty being's cave mansion, Black Evil Cave Mansion. This Black Evil Cave Mansion seemed to be a treasure. When the almighty being casted a technique, the cave mansion would come alive and transform into a gigantic evil spirit skeleton to fight for the almighty being. The cave mansion was the skull of the evil spirit skeleton, and its body was underground. The middle-aged man was called Cheng Xie. There was not much information about him, but without question, he was currently in dire straits. He prepared a cloak that was emitting evil qi for Su Yun. The two of them pulled down the cloak and lowered their heads as they entered the cave mansion. The interior of the cave was extremely spacious, and it was surrounded by pitch-black rock walls. There were skull-shaped lamps hanging on the rock walls, and a large number of blood-red or pitch-black runes were engraved on the rock walls. Inside the grooves, there were hideous and terrifying evil arrays. Some of the evil arrays were made of corpses, and they looked extremely horrifying. Some evil arrays were made of huge human faces, and they looked indescribably horrifying. Here, Su Yun finally saw the evil realm people that ruled the entire evil realm. Most of them were in human form, their entire bodies overflowing with evil qi. Some of their lower bodies were spirit bodies, some of their faces were void, only their eyes had no facial features, many of them had black skin, and some of them had blood-red tattoos on their skin. Every single one of them had extremely cold qi, their eyes were empty, filled with dense evil qi. Don't stare at the strong cultivators. Once you attract their attention and anger them, we'll be in trouble. Although we can coexist peacefully in this black evil cave mansion, once we leave the black evil cave mansion, the situation will be different. Cheng Xie whispered to Su Yun, then quickly walked forward. Su Yun anxiously followed. Suddenly, the evil realm people in the grooves all ran out of the array. All of them looked terrified. They respectfully stood at the two sides of the main path of the cave mansion. Then, they all lowered their heads and muttered something. "Quickly lower your heads, people!" Just then, Cheng Xie, who was walking in front, shouted anxiously. Then, like the rest, he lowered his head and muttered something. Su Yun did not understand, but seeing that the evil realm people were terrified, he did not hesitate. He stood beside Cheng Xie and lowered his head. He had the heavenly scale divine eye as a cover, and was not afraid that his special aura would leak out. It was easy for him to blend in. The entrance of the cave immediately became extremely quiet. Almost all the evil people ran out. Everyone's actions were extremely sincere, as though they were welcoming some important person, as though a god was about to arrive. Su Yun's heart was filled with suspicion, but he did not dare to look. He only felt that at this moment, waves of bone-piercing cold qi floated over. Following that, a large number of pitch-black spirits flew across the sky. They let out sobbing sounds, revealing sinister human faces, shuttling through the air, and then, a black rhinoceros-shaped evil beast with a large amount of evil qi floated over slowly. The demonic beast was huge, but the person sitting on it was even bigger, like a small giant. This person's entire body was pitch black, like a ghost. He was covered in a black robe, and there were many eyes printed on the robe. The eyes were constantly blinking, as if he was observing everything around him. Everyone held their breaths, and did not dare to make a single sound. Only when the Almighty Being walked over did the evil realm people straighten their backs, and return to their respective formations. This strong cultivator is called Thousand-Eyed Evil Lord, and is already at the 9th stage of the Spirit Soul realm. I heard that he is already serving the Almighty Being of the Black Evil Cave Mansion as his master, and is guarding the plains outside the cave mansion. Cheng Xie said. Su Yun was startled. Guarding the plains outside the cave mansion? Isn't that guarding the door? But in the next second, Cheng Xie hurriedly covered his mouth, his face anxious. Human, are you looking for death? You dare to speak rudely. Thousand-Eyed Evil Lord's cultivation is high, and his hearing is extremely sharp. Once he hears what you said, you're finished. He will not kill you, but he will refine your body, gouge out your eyes, and imprint them on his robe. He wants you to be used by him. Here, do not say such words again, or else you and I will both die. The strong can casually kill and devour the weak. This is the rule of the evil realm, don't you know that? Cheng Xie growled. Obviously, he was shocked by Su Yun's words. Hearing that, Su Yun nodded his head and did not say anything. But, his heart was still shaken. A ninth stage spirit soul realm cultivator was only used to guard the door? Then, what was the cultivation of the master of the Black Evil Cave Mansion? Very quickly, Ching Xie found an evil realm person that he knew. The two of them conversed in the evil language, and Ching Xie took out the black fruit with a human face that he plucked from the tree and gave it to the evil realm person. The evil realm person checked it, nodded his head, and gave another black bag to Ching Xie. Not knowing why, Su Yun saw that Ching Xie's face was extremely sorrowful under the cloak. His eyes were filled with evil qi as he looked at the fruit, and the human face fruit that was given to the evil realm person also had a reaction. He could see that the human face fruit's face was distorted, and its eyes were actually tearing up. "Let's go," Ching Xie said to Su Yun with a hoarse voice. Su Yun nodded, turned and left the eerie black evil cave mansion with Ching Xie. On the way, "Ching Xie, what fruit did you give to that evil realm person?" "You don't have to care about that," Ching Xie said. "Other than that, you are not allowed to touch those fruits, because in the entire evil realm, other than me, if anyone tries to pluck those fruits, the fruits will immediately turn into smoke and disappear." "So special?" Very quickly, the two of them returned to the soulless forest. Ching Xie threw the small bag to Su Yun and said, "Absorb it, and I will teach you the basics of using and generating evil qi. Rascal, if you don't cultivate evil qi, you will not be able to enter the shrine of evil spirit. Time is limited, we have to act quickly." Ching Xie said, "My eyes are powerful. The moment I saw you, I knew that your talent was not simple. You are much more powerful than the few people I met before. Although the heavenly scale divine eye could conceal cultivation and qi, it could not conceal talent. For people like Ching Xie who had sharp eyes, although he could not see Su Yun's cultivation, he could easily tell that Su Yun was many times more talented. Su Yun did not say anything, took out the bag, and took out the things inside. Inside were all black substances, some were like meat, some were like rocks, and some were like wood. They were all strange and motley, and Su Yun had never seen any of them before. "What are these things?" "These are materials used to transform meridians. Once you eat them, they will get close to your qi meridians and automatically produce a substance to integrate your qi meridians, allowing your qi meridians to adapt to the flow of evil spirit qi." Su Yun's eyes flashed and nodded. "It's too smelly here, I don't have much appetite, I'll go over there to eat." With that, he carried the bag and left. Ching Xie squinted his eyes and looked at Su Yun, but did not say anything. After half a day, Su Yun finally returned. His lips were black, and his eyes were overflowing with evil qi. He looked extremely demonic. What made people feel even more mysterious was that around him, there was a black whirlwind releasing a chill, evil force. Su Yun fiercely exhaled. The materials that Ching Xie gave him were all good treasures. All of these materials were used to strengthen his foundation. After absorbing them, not only did the qi meridians in his body strengthen, even the evil spirit essences in his body were strengthened. A portion of the evil spirit essences had already opened up a little, and could automatically produce evil force. "You finished absorbing them?" Seeing that Su Yun came out so quickly, Ching Xie was obviously shocked. "What should I do next?" Su Yun asked. "Soak in the evil spring and circulate the evil heart arts in the spring. Let your body produce evil spirit essences, and let the evil spirit essences form quickly, turning you into a half-human half-evil existence. When your body produces 100 evil spirit essences, you can enter the shrine of evil spirits. Of course, these 100 evil spirit essences can also provide you with stronger profound spirit qi. Although these profound spirit qi are all evil spirit qi, their power is not to be underestimated. Human, not only can you return to your realm, but you can also increase your strength. This is the best of both worlds. I understand." Su Yun's expression did not change, but his heart was overjoyed. Just 100 evil spirit essences? With the help of the monarch occult force, even 1,000 evil spirit essences would not be a problem. The growth of evil force was equivalent to the growth of profound spirit chi, and the improvement of cultivation. Then I'll start now. Follow me, I'll bring you into the spring, and then teach you the chant of the evil heart arts. Cheng Xie said, and then led Su Yun to the side of the forest. There was a 3-meter-wide pitch-black spring. The spring water was filled with evil chi, and from time to time, there would be bubbles coming out like a black pond. Su Yun took off the cloak on his body and walked in. You're completely submerged, you can breathe in the evil spring. Cheng Xie, who was standing beside the evil spring, said. Su Yun did not dare hesitate and went straight in. For revenge, he had even become a demon. Now, for strength, to return to Sky Martial Continent, and to see the people he wanted to see, why not become a demon? Seeing Su Yun's entire body submerged into the evil spring, Cheng Xie nodded his head in satisfaction, and then said, Calm your heart, clear your mind, the evil is yin, yang is the support, 5 hearts facing the sky, wait for your body to turn into ice. Cheng Xie's chant entered Su Yun's ears, who was inside the evil spring. After Su Yun heard it, he started chanting according to the chant. His talent was originally high, and he had some understanding of secret techniques. Adding the help of the everlasting stone, he quickly became familiar with the basics of the evil heart arts. Cheng Xie's goal was to use the evil spring to produce evil spirit essences for Su Yun, but he did not know that Su Yun's body had already produced a large number of evil spirit essences with the monarch occult force, and the current evil spring was only helping Su Yun to produce the young evil spirit essences, allowing them to grow stronger and stronger. When you enter the evil heart arts to cultivate, stay in the evil spring for 8 hours every day, and for the rest of the time, you cannot be lazy. The evil spirit essences need to be trained, and the easiest way to train them is to produce evil spirit chi, so you need to consume the evil spirit chi in your body, and train your own mystical techniques. Cheng Xie said. Su Yun, who was out of the evil spring, heaved a sigh of relief. At the moment, his entire body was drenched in the pitch-black spring water. His face was pale white, and his eyes were filled with black light. Cheng Xie, since you know so many cultivation techniques, you don't look like a mere 10th-level spirit novice disciple. Why don't you cultivate yourself? Me? Cheng Xie was startled for a while, then laughed out loud. I can no longer cultivate in this life, I'm already a cripple. Cripple? Yes, I used to be an expert of the spirit star realm, but I was crippled by an even stronger existence, and my talent was reduced to less than 10%. No matter how I cultivate, I can't improve at all. Cheng Xie said till here, and did not say anything else. Hearing that, Su Yun had a plan. From what he said, Cheng Xie seemed to have something in his heart. He was an evil realm being with a story, so he had to be careful and not be used by him. Chapter 200. So, the 1,000-deep sword danced quickly in the air. Another slender green sword danced along with it, shuttling through the pitch-black sky. Engraved dragon blade. After experiencing the previous destruction, it had finally awakened. Su Yun stood beside the evil spring, and quickly activated the profound spirit chi in his body. The 7 attributed profound spirit chi was like a rainbow, attached to the sword body, and wantonly swept out. The 1,000-deep sword and engraved dragon blade were not strong, but with the support of the special profound spirit chi, they became even more extraordinary, and their power was extremely strong. In this period of time, he was either cultivating or soaking in the spring. Cheng Xie was responsible for all the things he needed to cultivate and to fill his stomach. Although the things he needed to fill his stomach were all rotten meat, it was good enough to have something to eat. A month's time passed in the blink of an eye. With the help of the evil spring and monarch occult force, the number of evil spirit essences in his body had already reached 400, and 100 of them had already formed, and started to produce evil spirit chi. His chi channels also started to expand, his power increased, and he immediately stepped into the spirit core disciple realm. In fact, Su Yun was currently able to quickly enter the spirit soul disciple realm. The everlasting stone had helped him a lot in the early stages of cultivation, but because of Qing Air's matter, Su Yun did not rest at all, and spent very little time on cultivation. But now, he could finally settle down and cultivate properly. After stepping into the first stage of the spirit core disciple realm, Su Yun's evil qi became stronger. He felt that his body was full for a while, and then it disappeared, as though he was advancing towards the second stage. Ordinary people would need at least a year to enter the second stage from the first stage of the spirit core disciple realm. But with Su Yun's treasures and the support of the treasures, how could his cultivation not improve by leaps and bounds? Ching Xie nodded his head. He naturally could not find fault with Su Yun, but looking at the two flying swords in the sky, Ching Xie's black face revealed a tinge of regret. What technique is this? The Imperial Sword Technique. Su Yun casually said. I have seen Imperial swordsmen before, but the stronger ones can only control one sword, but you can control two flying swords so easily, seems like you are not simple. Su Yun did not say anything. Ching Xie laughed. His gaze landed on the pitch-black sword in front of Su Yun, his eyes revealing a trace of confusion. This sheathed sword gives me a very familiar feeling. Why don't you use it? Once it appears, it will definitely kill someone. Otherwise, it will not stop. Thus, I will not use it to practice my sword. Even if I do, I will not unsheath it. What a demonic sword! Ching Xie looked at the death sword and extended his hand out wanting to touch it, but just as his fingers were about to touch it, he could not help but retract his hand and asked, Where did you get this sword from? I picked it up. Su Yun lied. Ching Xie was stunned, but did not ask any further. Time slowly passed, the number of evil spirit essences in Su Yun's body increased, and the evil spirit qi became stronger and stronger, causing him to feel that his body was extremely cold, as though his blood had congealed, and his mind would always be filled with thoughts of killing and destruction. Was this the side effect of cultivating the evil spirit's aura? Su Yun did not know, but the good news was that his cultivation had improved a lot in this period of time. Because of the sudden increase in his evil spirit essence, his profound spirit qi was abundant. He had directly stepped into the second stage of the spirit core disciple and was on his way to the third stage. Such a cultivation speed was truly unheard of. On this day, after coming out from the evil spring, Su Yun went to his temporary training grounds. It was an empty space above the evil spring. The empty space was surrounded by trees, and the ground was filled with broken leaves. He found a large number of tree branches, threw them on the ground, and started to try controlling the tree branches. There were more than 100 branches, and the profound spirit qi in his body was like a spider spitting out silk threads, coiling around the tree branches. So the silk threads quickly wrapped around him, and all the tree branches flew out. More than 100 of them flew together, and they quickly revolved around Su Yun's body, transforming into a storm. They spun quickly, as though they were about to create a tornado. The tree branches were extremely easy to control. Even if he changed the tree branches into long swords, he should still be able to control them. From the looks of it, the first sword of the Limitless sword arts was more or less mastered, and the next step was the training of the second sword, controlling 1,000 swords. The 1,000 swords attacking like a rain of swords, like a huge wave, covering the sky and covering the earth, the enemy would definitely have nowhere to run. Just imagining the grand scene, his heart was surging. Su Yun found more tree branches, and instigated all the profound spirit qi in his body. His fundamental spirit essences, earth spirit essences and evil spirit essences were all activated, and his qi channels were activated crazily. A large amount of qi leaked out and coiled around the tree branches. The tree branches all flew in the air and scattered everywhere. The tree branches that were wrapped with profound spirit chi were as sharp as knives, and easily chopped down the surrounding trees. A total of 198. That means my current limit is to control 198 flying swords. After a while, Su-yun felt that he had reached his limit. He held onto the 1,000-deep sword with one hand and panted heavily. It seemed like he still had a long way to go before he could master the second sword. The foundation of the Limitless sword arts was based on the thickness and familiarity of the profound spirit chi. Other than that, it was the sword arts that emphasized on heart and chi as one, heart and sword as one. To achieve heart and chi as one, it meant that the profound spirit chi had already reached a stage where the heart could produce chi. And the heart and sword as one was achieved through the heart and chi as one. The heart and chi as one, the chi to control the sword, and the heart and sword as one. If the heart and sword as one were already extremely proficient, then the flying swords would naturally be able to move freely. And to control a large number of flying swords, one needed to train in the sword concept. The concept of the sword was not something that could be achieved in a day. It required a long period of practice. Su-yun found a large amount of evil wood, and cut them into wooden swords. He trained with them, and every time he was exhausted, he would soak in the evil spring, nourish the evil spirit essences, and recover his strength. His strength increased every day, and this feeling made him extremely infatuated. Over 100 wooden swords that were wrapped with 7 types of profound spirit chi danced in the air. Sometimes they would form a sword screen, and sometimes they would scatter into the shape of a flower. It was very elegant. The sword elder once said that the Limitless sword sect's secret techniques had records of the Limitless sword array. Using the Limitless sword arts to activate these strong sword arrays could produce astonishing results. But now that the sword elder had turned into a sword stone, these sword arrays would not see the light of day for the time being. It was a pity. Not good. Just as Su-yun was still training in the forest, Cheng Xie's shout came out from the other side. He looked flustered and frantically ran towards Su-yun. Su-yun was stunned. He removed the wooden swords that filled the sky, kept the 1,000-deep sword and engraved dragon blade, and looked at him in confusion. What happened? Go. Go quickly. Those rascals are here again. Go quickly. Cheng Xie shouted at Su-yun as he ran. Those rascals? Su-yun was suspicious, but he did not dare to hesitate. He immediately followed Cheng Xie deeper into the forest. He saw Cheng Xie leading Su-yun, and ran to the back of the forest to hide in a huge tree hole. The tree hole was pitch black, and there was a large amount of black chi floating around. When the two of them entered, they were completely covered by the black chi. Su-yun was confused. He saw Cheng Xie leaning against the tree trunk, his entire body trembling. His face was full of fear and shock like a frightened rabbit. Cheng Xie, what's wrong? Who is here? Su-yun asked softly. It's them. It's them. It's Master's enemies. They are here to torture Master's loyal guards again. Cheng Xie shouted as he trembled. Loyal guards? Master? Su-yun was in the clouds, and did not understand what Cheng Xie was saying. Cheng Xie hugged his head and trembled. Human, you don't understand. Actually, I'm the captain of the guards in the shrine of evil spirits. I guard the shrine for Master, and Master goes on expeditions everywhere, conquering countless strong martial artists, and taking them as his own servants. But one day, Master provoked an almighty being. Although this almighty being was not as strong as Master, he was an expert in sneak attacks. When Master was unprepared, he casted the Heaven Lock technique, and lured Master into the technique, and forcefully extracted Master's spirit and soul. Master lost his spirit and soul, and his cultivation dropped greatly. In the end, he was torn apart by the almighty being, and the guards who wanted to take revenge for Master were all destroyed by the almighty being. The guards did not die and fought to the end. Relying on the secret technique that Master taught, they finally injured the Almighty Being. The Almighty Being was furious, and before he left, he activated the curse technique, and turned the guards' spirits into fruits, and hung them on the trees, to let them be exposed to the sun and wind, and never be able to reincarnate. Qing Xie cried out in pain. Hearing that, Su Yun immediately thought of the human-faced fruits, and was enlightened. Then, those fruits were sealed with the guards' spirits? That's right. Those fruits are the human spirit fruits. After consuming them, it can increase one's cultivation. Because these guards only acknowledge me, other than me, if anyone else were to take the fruits, the guards would choose the last step, and turn into ashes and disappear forever. They would rather die than be taken by others, unless they have my permission, because they trust me, and believe that I can revive them, and revive Master. That is also why I told you, in the entire evil realm, only I can pluck these fruit. No wonder when you were plucking the human spirit fruits, you had to kowtow. So you were thanking them for their sacrifice. They all understand that I plucked them to revive Master. They were willing to sacrifice themselves, even if they were eaten by other evil realm people, they did not care. As Qing Xie spoke, his face was filled with sorrow. All these years, who knew how many guards had sacrificed themselves for nothing? Su Yun naturally respected Qing Xie and the guards. To be able to do such a thing, their master should feel gratified. So, you want me to go to the shrine of evil spirits, so that I can help you revive your master? That's right. After the Almighty Being left with heavy injuries, he sent people to destroy the shrine of evil spirits. The enchantments, arrays, evil chi inside the shrine were all messed up and mixed together, attracting a large number of evil beings. Furthermore, many of the evil soldiers who died were affected by the chi and lost their minds, becoming zombies, wandering around the shrine of evil spirit. With my cultivation, I cannot enter the shrine of evil spirits, so I need your help. Go to the shrine of evil spirits, and help me retrieve Master's divine crown. Before Master died, he secretly left a part of his spirit in the divine crown. I can use the divine crown to think of a way to revive Master. Resurrect the loyal guards. Qing Xie wiped the tears from the corner of his eyes and said painfully, "Now, the Almighty Being's people are here again. They will not pluck the human spirit fruits to give the guards a quick death. They will only torture them and make them suffer." So boring, Su Yun said helplessly. After they torture them enough, they will go to the shrine of evil spirits and look for Master's divine crown. Look for your Master's divine crown? Why didn't you take it when you destroyed the shrine? Because the enchantment that sealed Master's divine crown was broken, and the dense chi of the divine crown leaked out, causing countless of evil realm people to sense it. But the current shrine of evil spirits is already very terrifying, and only the strong martial artists can enter. All these years, who knows how many evil realm people have died in the shrine? I see. Su Yun nodded his head. Just then, he heard Qing Xie shout in fear, "They're here!" Su Yun was startled, and quietly looked outside, only to see a group of evil realm people approaching them. Immediately, Su Yun's heart jumped. Qing Xie was the Master's man. If he was captured, he would definitely suffer a fate worse than death, and if he was with Qing Xie, he would not have a good time. He had to think of a way to leave. Chapter 201. They would come once a month, with the goal of getting the divine crown. Although they would all die every time, they did not give up. The first time, I did not have time to defend myself, and they broke one of my legs. I could only use my broken blade as a crutch to walk. After that, I became smarter, and dug a hole in this tree, and set up some enchantments to conceal my chi. Every time they came, I would sense them beforehand, and hide here. Qing Xie said in a terrified voice. Su Yun secretly stuck half of his face out of the tree hole, and carefully sized up the evil realm people that were coming over. They were dressed in brown armor, and their bodies were like black spirit. Every single one of them had a sinister smile on their faces. Both of their feet were a foot off the ground, and they gently floated over. There was no sound at all. Is it really safe here? Su-Yun asked. It was definitely safe in the past, but I'm not sure now. But they know of my existence, and they are not in a rush to kill me. Instead, they want to capture me and torture me. That is the joy of being an evil realm person. Cheng Xie said. I see that they are only at the 10th stage of the Spirit Core Disciple realm. They are still a step away from the Spirit Soul Disciple realm. There are a total of 12 of them. How can such a team enter the shrine to search for treasures? Although they are a team in name to search for treasures, but in truth, they are only here to scout. Scout? Scout for information about the shrine's terrain? That's right. The shrine is ultimately my master's territory. There are many traps inside, enchantments everywhere. Forget about the Spirit Core Disciple realm. Even a Spirit Soul Disciple realm cultivator might not be able to safely obtain the Divine Crown. I reckon that only a Spirit Star realm cultivator can enter. Maybe after they scout the terrain, the Almighty Being will take action. They are all dead in the shrine. How can they send the information out? Very simple. They have mirror imprints on them. The Almighty Being can see everything in their line of sight. This Almighty Being is an expert in sneak attacks. Every time he makes a move, he will make preparations. He is so cautious, and that is the reason why my master could not defeat him. That's similar to me, Su-Yun said shamelessly. Ga. Just then, a horrifying sound came out from the side of the tree. Su-Yun and Cheng Xie anxiously held their breath. The two of them did not dare to make a sound. Cold sweat trickled down as they listened to the movements around them. These evil realm people were all flying in the air, walking without a sound. They had no way of knowing when they were near, and only when they were near could they hear the weird breathing sounds of the evil realm people. Gradually, the sound of breathing faded into the distance. The two of them continued to hide in the tree hole for a full hour before carefully making their way out. They shouldn't be coming back, right? Su-Yun looked at the road behind the tree hole and said, They will be buried in the Divine Hall. They will be affected by the turbid energy within the Divine Hall and turn into evil beings within the Divine Hall, forever wandering within the Divine Hall. Cheng Xie crawled out of the tree hole, using the broken blade to support himself, his voice trembling as he spoke. Hearing that, Su-Yun's brain spun a few times and thought, if that's the case in the future when we get the Divine Crown for you, maybe we can use them. Hearing that, Cheng Xie anxiously nodded his head. Human, you're right. When the time comes, you can follow them into the Divine Hall and wait for the chance to get the Divine Crown. But it's just a fantasy now. A group of 10th stage Spirit Core Disciple cultivators are all buried there. I'm just a 2nd stage Spirit Core Disciple cultivator. Isn't that courting death? So let's just cultivate first, Su-Yun said and walked away. Cheng Xie did not say anything, and followed Su-Yun back to the forest. He anxiously ran into the forest, and came to the big tree that was filled with mortal spirit fruit. Just then, the big tree was shining with red light, and waves of mournful wails could be heard. Cheng Xie ran over and raised his head. His black face immediately changed, and his eyes were filled with fear. Around every mortal spirit fruit on the tree, there was a large number of blood swords. These swords were not even an inch long, but they were revolving around the mortal spirit fruits at high speed, and continuously slashing at them. The mortal spirit fruits were shaking crazily, and the faces on the fruits were all twisted, as though they were in pain. These are spirit swords. They can cause harm to the soul, but it is not fatal. They are experiencing the pain of being cut into thousands of pieces. Cheng Xie knelt on the ground and screamed in pain, as though he was suffering from the pain of the swords. He was the only one left from the glory of the past. His companions all ended up like this, and he could only watch and not do anything. This feeling of being powerless was the most painful. Su-Yun looked at Cheng Xie quietly, and did not say anything. He took a deep breath and turned to leave. On the second day, the spirit swords disappeared, and the mortal spirit fruits finally quietened down, but Cheng Xie was much less talkative than before. He still did not feel tired, and used his leg that did not show any signs of injury to limp to look for food. The mortal spirit fruits were exchanged for powerful medicinal ingredients for Su Yun, and Su Yun accepted them without hesitation. After the evil realm people passed through the forest, they did not return. Su Yun once again resumed his peaceful cultivation life. As time passed, the mortal spirit fruits in the forest became lesser, and Su Yun's cultivation became stronger. Half a year later, Su Yun, who was immersed in cultivation, leaped into the 10th stage of the Spirit Core Disciple. The Everlasting Stone's consolidation, Hu Qian Mei's physique's enhancement, adding on the evil realm's unique and powerful materials, and the help of the Spirit Spring, his cultivation soared. Everything was difficult at the beginning. The most difficult part of cultivation for a spirit cultivator was the 2 stages. The cultivation stage, the stage after the Spirit Soul Disciple. And in between these 2 stages, it was the best place for spirit cultivators to cultivate. Talented people would be able to progress without any obstacles. This was also the reason why Qing Er could quickly enter the Spirit Core Disciple realm when she entered the main house. Her talent was not bad, and the conditions were good, so how could her cultivation not improve crazily? But now she was stuck at the 10th stage of cultivation. To jump into the Spirit Soul Disciple realm, it was not something that could be achieved with hard work and pills. It required a fortuitous encounter, or an extremely long time of accumulation. Su Yun was not anxious. The current profound spirit qi in his body had reached an extreme state. Because of the monarch occult force, the spirit spring and the unique qi of the evil realm, the evil spirit essences in Su Yun's body had increased to more than 9,000, and was about to break 10,000. The profound spirit qi in his body was no longer dominated by pure divine spirit qi, but by evil spirit qi. Because his body was filled with evil qi, his face became even paler, and threads of evil qi leaked out from his pores. Not only that, under the support of the strong evil spirit qi, the number of flying swords he could control also increased. Previously, he only had 100 swords, but now, he could control 499 wooden swords to attack. Following this trend, it was just a matter of time before he could enter the second sword of the Limitless sword art. Today was the day that the Almighty Being had sent the evil realm people to investigate the shrine. Su Yun had stayed here for close to a year. The evil realm people that came to investigate the shrine came one after another, and Su Yun and Cheng Xie already knew when they would arrive. Every time they approached, the 2 of them would not go to the tree hole, but chose to hide in the black evil cave mansion. Now was no exception. Cheng Xie and Su Yun wore their black cloaks, and headed straight to the black evil cave mansion. Before leaving, Cheng Xie specially went into the forest, and kowtowed to the spirit fruits 10 times, then plucked one and kept it in his pocket. He was prepared to go to the black evil cave mansion to exchange for some treasures for Su Yun to train. There were only 7 spirit fruits left, and these were the souls of the last 7 guards by the master's side. Looking at Cheng Xie's heavy expression, Su Yun took a deep breath and asked softly, "Aren't you afraid that after I cultivate, I will reject your request, and not go to the shrine to get the divine crown for you?" Cheng Xie was silent for a moment, then suddenly laughed sinisterly. "Afraid? Haha, of course I'm afraid. Human, if that's the case, then I will lose everything, including my faith. Then why do you trust me? Do I have a choice?" Cheng Xie raised his hand and patted the weak leg, and laughed. "A weak and unloyal crippled evil realm person, how long can you live in the evil realm? If I don't trust you, then who should I trust?" Su Yun turned his head and did not speak. Very quickly, the 2 of them arrived at the black evil cave mansion. There were many evil realm people around the cave mansion, exchanging for items. Under the intimidation of the Almighty Being, this was the only place that could give people a sense of security. Of course, in here, you had to be humble. Cheng Xie was like that. Along the way, he kept his head down, and did not dare to look at anyone, afraid that he would provoke them. In the entire black evil cave mansion, Cheng Xie's cultivation was the weakest. Luckily, the master of the cave mansion was powerful, and the evil realm people did not dare to cause trouble. But sometimes this deterrence wasn't absolute. In front, a group of evil realm people walked over, a total of 6 people. When they walked over, the surrounding evil realm people did not make any moves to welcome the thousand-eyed evil lord, but they all lowered their heads and stopped talking, afraid of offending them. Why is it this guy? Cheng Xie's face changed. He anxiously lowered his head, and pulled Su Yun to the side. Su Yun had a face of suspicion, but he knew that Cheng Xie would not harm him, so he followed his instructions, and stood by the side, waiting for the people to pass. These people looked left and right, their faces full of pride and complacency. This was the pride of a strong martial artist. They could control the life and death of the weak, and that was something to be proud of. Cheng Xie? Suddenly, the evil realm people who were walking over saw them, and the leader's face was slightly startled, and immediately shouted out. Su Yun could clearly feel Cheng Xie's body shivering, but he still took off his cape and respectfully bowed to the few people, his mouth full of respect. Cheng Xie greets the masters. What masters? Master, there's only me. The leader kicked Cheng Xie's abdomen, causing him to flip, and then stepped on his boneless leg. Cheng Xie cried out in pain, but he did not dare to resist, and did not even dare to scold or complain. Even if he resisted, the matter would blow up, and no one would help Cheng Xie, and he would still be the one to suffer. The thing that I instructed you to do, have you done it? The leader of the evil realm people's face revealed a cold smile, and said softly, Pluck all the spirit fruits and give them to me. You should still remember my words, right? These few years, I left the black evil cave mansion, and did not meet you. I just came back recently, and coincidentally met you. Then, where are the fruits? Did you bring them? Master, the fruits are still on the tree. Cheng Xie did not dare to pluck the fruits. If the fruits leave the tree, and do not consume it within 2 hours, it will lose its effect, and will not be able to increase my cultivation. So, Cheng Xie decided to see Master first, and then, I will give you the fruits. Cheng Xie broke out in cold sweat, and shouted while trembling. The leader heard, and loosened his leg, his face revealing a sneer. Since it's like that, then I order you to come next time. Give me all the spirit fruits, if not, I will take your other leg bone away. Finished, he waved his hand, and led the rest of the evil realm people away. Su Yun walked a few steps forward, and helped Cheng Xie up. Cheng Xie's face did not have much anger, only fear, but very quickly, he regained his composure, as though he was used to the days of being bullied. Previously, Su Yun had clearly seen that when he was kicked to the ground by the man, his body had curled up, protecting the mortal spirit fruit in the bag. The two of them continued forward, only to see Cheng Xie in front of a cave, and chatted with an evil realm person, then took out the spirit fruit he was protecting, and gave it to the evil realm person, in exchange for a bag of ingredients for Su Yun. After obtaining the ingredients, he would immediately leave, as though he was afraid of seeing the fruit being devoured by the evil realm person. After exchanging for the items, and calculating the time, the group of evil realm people should have left. Su Yun and Cheng Xie quickly left the black evil cave mansion, and returned to the forest. Chapter 202. Gudong. 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 Just like before, Su Yun absorbed all the juices in the beast's head, then stood up and headed towards the evil spring. At the moment, his entire body was filled with endless evil qi. The number of evil spirit essences was comparable to the number of earth spirit essences and ordinary spirit essences. If not for the monarch occult force activating daily, continuously balancing the various attributes of profound spirit qi, Su Yun's profound spirit qi would only be left with one attribute. The heavenly scale divine eye concealed his entire qi, but without question, the current person was many times stronger than before. Even without the help of the heavenly crystal or other treasures, he was able to control a few hundred flying swords, which was unimaginable in the past. But this was far from enough. With just a 10th stage spirit core disciple cultivation, even in the sky martial continent, he was an ordinary existence. After entering the spirit soul disciple realm, he would be considered a top figure, but he was just a top figure, that was all. Su Yun threw away the dried-up beast's head, wiped his mouth that was filled with black liquid, his eyes filled with determination. If his cultivation was high, what was there to worry about? Profound sky sect? Su family? If I am not afraid, they will definitely not be able to do anything to me. Even the spirit demon clan lady is not afraid. Thinking about that, he did not rest, and walked straight to the evil spring, his entire body immersed in it, and continued to absorb the energy of the evil spring. After soaking for a long time, the energy in the evil spring was getting lesser and lesser. Almost all of it was absorbed by Su Yun. The spring water was getting lighter and lighter, and no longer had the original ink-like color. Seems like after soaking for a period of time, he could remove the soaking in the evil spring from his training. Currently, there was still some energy in the evil spring, so Su Yun laid in, and enjoyed the pleasure of the surrounding evil qi entering his body. At the start, the bone-piercing cold feeling had completely disappeared, and Su Yun was getting more and more used to the cold qi of the evil realm. Maybe it was because a human's body had already become ice-cold. Dong. Just at this time, a suppressed sound came out, followed by a slight tremor on the ground. Su Yun's expression tensed up. With a whoosh, he jumped out of the evil spring, pulled out thousand-deep sword and engraved dragon blade, and carefully went towards the source of the sound. During this period of cultivation, he was not in a hurry to retrieve the sword. When his cultivation was strong enough, he would definitely not go and retrieve the sword. Of course, he still had his own thought. There was not much meaning in continuing to take the subordinate swords. If he wanted to take them, he would take the primal sword like the Death Sword, or the primal sword hidden in the Sword Palace. In the past, Su Yun thought that it was impossible, but after being enlightened by Ling Qinyu, he understood. If he obtained the primal sword, wouldn't all the subordinate swords belong to him? Dong. At this moment, another explosion sounded. Qing Xie, who was holding onto the broken blade, ran over in a panic. He looked battered and exhausted. The robe on his body was in tatters, and his whole body was covered in mud. His expression was one of panic and terror. Run! Run, they're coming! Qing Xie opened his eyes wide, and shouted at Su Yun, who was beside the evil spring. Without waiting for Su Yun to speak, a pitch-black claw shadow flew over, and fiercely smashed onto Qing Xie's back. Qing Xie's huge body immediately flew out, and landed heavily on the ground. He spat out a mouthful of black blood, and wanted to climb back up, but he did not have much strength left. Su Yun's eyes congealed, and looked towards the direction where the claw shadow flew out. A few evil realm people walked out from that direction. They were the people he met in the Black Evil Cave Mansion, the people who humiliated Qing Xie and demanded him to hand over the spirit fruit. The leader was called Wu Zhuaxie. His strength was ferocious, reaching the second stage of the spirit soul realm. It was said that he was a servant in the Black Evil Cave Mansion, and often interacted with the almighty being of the cave mansion. The evil realm people behind him were not weak either. All of them were above the 9th stage of the spirit core realm, with the highest at the 10th stage. Despicable Qing Xie, I have already given you a chance, why don't you cherish it? Why did you lie to me? Humiliate me? You filthy bastard! Just die in pain like this. Wu Zhuaxie said with a hoarse voice, his expression sinister, walking step by step towards Qing Xie, who was lying on the ground. Qing Xie's eyes were wide open, his face full of fear. He used all his strength, supporting his body to move backwards, but how far could he run? He knew he could not run, and looking at the people getting closer, he shouted in pain. Master's loyal guards are only left with the last 7, no matter what, I will not give their spirits to you for you to absorb, no. I will definitely not do that. Since it's like that, there's no point in keeping you. I will not allow people who disobey me to live in this world. Wu Zhuaxie's long and narrow eyes that were burning with pitch-black flames squinted, then he raised his hand, and was about to end Qing Xie. Wait! Just then, Su Yun spoke out. Are you with him? Wu Zhuaxie stopped, and stared at Su Yun. Once he asked, Qing Xie anxiously shouted. I don't know him, master. If you want to kill, just kill me. He has nothing to do with me. Really? Wu Zhuaxie's eyes revealed a trace of fanaticism. But in the next second, Su Yun shook his head. No, I know him, I'm with him. Idiot you, Qing Xie was enraged and roared. You idiot, you cannot die. If you die, who can help me obtain Master's divine crown? You have to live, you have to, so, you want me to escape? Su Yun asked. Go. I'll hold them off for you. Qing Xie seemed to have made a decision, with one hand holding onto the broken blade. He tried his best to stand up, but how could he have the strength to do so? The attack just now did not kill him, it was already Wu Zhuaxie being merciful. Qing Xie's words caused Wu Zhuaxie and the rest to laugh out loud, their mocking laughter resonating out. Su Yun was curious. Qing Xie's cultivation and talent were destroyed. Could it be that his intelligence was destroyed as well? He could even say such words. Su Yun did not know if he was stupid or cute. Su Yun spat out a mouthful of turbid qi, then pulled out Thousand Deep Sword, and stabbed it into the ground. My strength is not as good as yours, I can't fight you guys. What can I do for you to let us go? Let you guys go? Wu Zhuaxie laughed sinisterly. I'll lose a lot of fun, but if you guys are willing to kneel down and kowtow to me, maybe I'll consider not killing you guys. Pei, you're not fit to be my master. Qing Xie was enraged. His cultivation was low, although he was afraid of death, but that was because of his loyalty to his master. Even without that loyalty, he was still a man. Su Yun was quiet for a moment, then asked, Other than that, is there no other way? You two ants, you're not fit to discuss with me, either kneel down or I'll suck your souls. He. Su Yun stared at Thousand Deep Sword, looked at the sword body and said, Actually, although my cultivation is not as good as yours, but in one aspect, you guys definitely cannot compare to me. This strange statement caused Wu Zhuaxie and the rest to be stunned. Oh, you still have something powerful? I do. Su Yun nodded his head, but in the next second, his eyes flashed with a glint, his arm suddenly moved, the evil qi on his body suddenly leaked out, his palm grabbed the Thousand Deep Sword in front of him, pulled it out and then slashed towards Wu Zhuaxie. The sword tip was aimed at his pitch-black neck. Voila! Almost in an instant, the whistling sword qi surged out like water. Then, clang! A pitch-black claw quickly grabbed onto Su Yun's Thousand Deep Sword that was flying towards Wu Zhuaxie. Looking at it, it was Wu Zhuaxie's claw. He firmly held onto the cold sword edge, his long and slender black claws tightly clasped onto the sword blade. No matter how much strength Su Yun used, he was unable to move the sword blade. It was even shaking, as though the entire sword was under his control. You're just an ant. How dare you be so impudent in front of me? You don't even know your own capabilities? You think you can sneak an attack on me? Wu Zhuaxie squinted his eyes again, his entire body releasing a dense killing intent. Obviously he was furious. Just that. This matter was not over yet. Right at this moment, a strange rustling sound suddenly resounded in the surroundings, and then a large number of wooden swords assaulted Qin Shi from all directions. Every single sword was enveloped by a heavy and strange aura, and the originally ordinary wooden swords actually glowed with a multicolored light and were extremely sharp. What kind of weird technique is this? Everyone was startled. Without waiting for them to think, all the wooden swords flew towards them. The sword tip pointed straight, covering the sky and covering the earth, like a wave of swords, ruthlessly smashing towards them. Although they were just wooden swords, but under the dense profound spirit chi, they were actually shining like divine swords. What a strong chi, be careful! Wu Zhuaxie anxiously retreated, waving both his claws, releasing thousands of claw images, slashing towards the wooden swords. Su Yun took the chance to retract the 1,000-deep sword, and pointed. Bang! A clap of thunder sounded out in the sky. Following that, dark clouds covered the sky. The vortex-like dark clouds started to spin, as though a gigantic dragon was stirring up the entire sky. Su Yun put down his sword. With one hand, he carried the half-dead Cheng Xie, and anxiously rushed into the forest. Cunning ant! Once I catch you, I will imprison your spirit and torture you forever. Wu Zhuaxie was enraged. He roared crazily. He smashed the wooden swords and chased. But, before he could chase, the gigantic vortex in the sky, a gigantic black sword the size of a mountain rushed out, like Mount Tai crashing down. The sword body was thick and powerful. The entire sword was like a dragon's head, bringing with it a dense chi that could destroy everything. It fiercely smashed down, cleaving the heavens, beheading the dragon. So strong. This chi is so strong. Is this that ant's mystical technique? No, this must be a treasure. Wu Zhuaxie's heart jumped. He shouted loudly. The group of evil realm people hastily activated their treasures, but it was too late. The 100 swords were restricting them. The real killing technique, cleaving the heavens, beheading the dragon, was already descending. Dong! This attack caused the entire black evil cave mansion to tremble. Countless of evil realm people opened their eyes. All of them were awakened, including the sleeping almighty beings. The black evil cave mansion had not caused such a huge commotion for many years. Su Yun, who was rushing into the forest, upon hearing the loud sound, anxiously found the tree hole that Cheng Xie had dug, and threw him in. Human! Seems like you still intend to throw me away, but that's right, I am just a burden. If you bring me along, none of us will be able to escape. Let's go, the further the better. I only hope that after you leave, you can still complete the task that I entrusted to you, and go to the shrine of evil spirits, retrieve the divine crown, and then revive my master. That way, I and the loyal guards can finally rest in peace. Cheng Xie said bitterly. He did not resist, and allowed Su Yun to do as he pleased. But Su Yun ignored him. After stuffing Cheng Xie into the tree hole, he immediately retreated, and turned to hide behind the gigantic tree. After staying here for almost a year, Su Yun was rather familiar with the surroundings. If he continued to run into the forest, he would be courting death, not to mention that the forest was filled with a large number of strong evil beasts. Just the one in the forest was the famous shrine of evil spirits around the black evil cave mansion. If he continued to run, he would only die. Since there was nowhere to run, he could only choose to fight. Just now, when he activated the sprite's shadow, Su Yun was not as weak as before. The evil spirit essences in his body quickly produced more evil spirit chi, filling his chi channels. With his current strength, it should not be a problem to activate 2 to 3 sprites' shadow consummate technique. That was the benefit of strength. Although my cultivation is not as high as yours, but my treasures are not something you can compare to. Su Yun held onto his sword tightly, staring at the other side. The heavenly scale divine eye shielded his chi, hiding his figure extremely well. Voila! Very quickly, the sound of air breaking came out from the small path. A few evil realm people were flying in the air, quickly approaching. They're here. They're here. Cheng Xie's frightened voice came out from the tree hole. Su Yun congealed, all the spirit essences in his body activated again. Chapter 203. With the amplification of the heavenly scale divine eye, Su Yun could easily see anything from a kilometer away. Just then, Wu Zhuaxie and the rest slowed down. Without a doubt, they were suspicious because at this time, they could no longer sense any qi in the air. Previously, although they were unable to sense Su Yun's qi, they were able to sense the qi on Qing Xie's body and track him. But now, even Qing Xie's qi had disappeared. Su Yun stared intently at Wu Zhuaxie and the rest, carefully observing their every move. Wu Zhuaxie and the rest looked around cautiously, releasing their evil force, using the evil force to sense everything around them, capturing all the movements around them. Human, what are you doing? Don't tell me you want to fight against them? Impossible. That is definitely impossible. You are only a 10th stage spirit core disciple, the weakest of them is a 9th stage spirit core disciple, the strongest is a spirit soul disciple. With just you alone, you will definitely not be able to fight them. Go. Quickly go. Don't be rash. Qing Xie saw Su Yun leaning against the tree, in an ambush position, and immediately stuck his head out, and shouted anxiously. Go? You think I don't want to go? Su Yun's expression was firm. But where can we go now? With my cultivation level, if I continue to advance into the soulless forest, I will only die. Both in front and behind me are unknown evil beings, and in front of me are evil beings. If it were you, what would you choose? This. Maybe you know more about the soulless forest than me. Now, if you can find a way to escape, we will leave immediately. Qing Xie was speechless. Run now? Other than running into the depths of the soulless forest, towards the shrine of evil spirits, where else could he go? It's too late. Wu Zhuaxie and the rest were getting closer and closer. Su Yun's face tensed up. His grip on the sword hilt tightened. 7 types of profound spirit qi were activated, and he was about to launch a sneak attack. But, just at that moment, an explosion came out from the depths of the soulless forest, followed by a painful wail from an evil being. Su Yun was startled. Seems like someone is coming from behind. Qing Xie also heard the explosion, and anxiously came out of the tree hole, shouting at Su Yun. But in the next second, Su Yun's face changed, and he anxiously stuffed him back. In order to enter the depths of the soulless forest, they must pass through us, but during this period of time, other than the troops sent by the Almighty to explore the shrine of evil spirits, no one else has entered. Why would someone come after us? I'm afraid there's only one possibility, and that is that the troops that were sent to explore the shrine of evil spirits didn't die in the battle. They had already found the way and returned to report to that powerful being. Su Yun said in a low voice as he entered the tree hole. You managed to explore the temple? Qing Xie looked at Su Yun, who had just entered the tree hole, and was shocked, his voice trembling. You mean to say that these people have already found out the details of the temple? Are you going to go back and ask that mighty figure to come and retrieve the item? That should be the case. I don't know how many teams they sent, but every time there was no news. Most of them were buried in the temple. But this time is different. In fact, if I think about it carefully, it should be over for them. After all, we've already wasted so much time. Then what should we do? This won't do. We must act now. We must snatch Master's divine crown before they do. Qing Xie said anxiously. You're still thinking about that? Let's think of a way to survive. In front of us is Wu Zhuaxie, and behind us is the mighty figure's troops. There are wolves in front and tigers behind. Whether we can survive or not is a problem, and you're still thinking about getting the divine crown? Su Yun shook his head and said. He respected Qing Xie's loyalty to his master, but sometimes this loyalty had to depend on the situation, or else it would be blind loyalty. Qing Xie was not a stupid person. He swallowed his saliva and looked at Su Yun. Human, do you have any ideas? No. Su Yun shook his head. Then why are we still here? You have an escape route. This tree hole of yours is not bad. At least it can hide qi. But in truth, it cannot hide from Wu Zhuaxie's senses. Now that Wu Zhuaxie and the rest have spread their evil qi to a 100 m radius, if they go near, they will sense that there's someone in the tree hole. At that time, we will not be able to escape. Then what do we do? What do we do? I don't want to die. Master has not revived. I cannot die. Qing Xie was like a frightened bird. His entire body was trembling and his lips were trembling. So we can only leave it to fate. Leave it to fate. Yes, leave it to fate. Saying that, Su Yun took out a thin wooden sword from his storage ring. Then, he activated his profound spirit chi and enveloped it. Then, he shot out of the tree hole. In the blink of an eye, he flew into the sky and disappeared. What are you doing? Quickly take back that treasure. If Wu Zhuaxie and the rest saw it, wouldn't that expose our tracks? Cheng Xie shouted anxiously. Su Yun shook his head. This is not for Wu Zhuaxie and the rest to see. I controlled the flying sword to fly in the opposite direction. This is for the mighty figure's troops to see. For them to see? Yes, I want to lure them here in advance. At least before Wu Zhuaxie and the rest arrive here. Wu Zhuaxie is using his evil qi to sense our track. If Wu Zhuaxie reaches here first, he will definitely find us. At that time, we will be in a terrible situation. But if I use the wooden sword to create a commotion, I can lure the evil realm people here first. They will pass by us and meet Wu Zhuaxie first. At that time, maybe we will be safe. Why maybe? Because I don't know if they will exchange blows with Wu Zhuaxie. If they do not cause trouble and avoid Wu Zhuaxie, then our danger will not be resolved. Hearing that, Qing Xie became silent. The wooden sword flew very quickly. Very quickly, it left Su Yun's control and started to waver. Su Yun held his breath. He controlled the wooden sword behind him and fiercely slashed towards a huge tree. Quang Dang! The thick and sturdy tree instantly split into two. The thick sword chi and evil chi surged out. The wooden sword fell to the ground. It had completely lost control. The evil realm people who were advancing heard the commotion and were immediately startled. A few of them looked at each other. Immediately, two of the evil realm people separated and ran to the side. Then, they quickly rushed towards the source of the commotion. This chi seems to be created by a 10th stage spirit core disciple. Maybe there are some ants in front of us. One of the evil realm people sensed the grade of the chi and immediately shouted to the leader of the evil realm people. Ants? The leader of the evil realm people had a sinister look in his eyes. He stuck out his red tongue and licked his black lip. His eyes that were burning with black flames were filled with greed and desire. We barely escaped from the shrine of evil spirit. It has been a long time since we tasted a fresh soul. Let's go, let's have a good meal. 10th stage spirit core disciple, the soul must be delicious. With that, the leader of the evil realm people smiled sinisterly and walked forward quickly. Their cultivation was at least at the 1st stage of the spirit soul realm. The highest was at the 4th stage of the spirit soul realm. Wu Zhuaxie and the rest were definitely not their opponents. Furthermore, Wu Zhuaxie lost in terms of numbers. There were 7 of them. Su Yun held his breath as he carefully sensed the movements behind him. These evil realm people were all floating around and did not make any noise. The only thing that could sense their existence was their breathing that sounded like the howls of evil spirit. They're here, Su Yun exclaimed. Then, he stopped breathing and did not move an inch. He was afraid that he would make any sound. Qing Xie cowered at the side of the tree hole and trembled. He was once a strong cultivator. These spirit soul realm people were just ants in his eyes. But now, he was an ant. Maybe the confidence he had in the past had disappeared along with his strength. Seeing Qing Xie like that, Su Yun could not help but sigh. In this world, strength was too important. The breathing sound got closer and closer. Then, it gradually became further and weaker. Su Yun and Qing Xie knew that the group of evil realm people had already passed through the tree hole and were advancing forward. But at this moment, the frequency of the breathing and the changes in the voice stopped. The group of evil realm people stopped. Su Yun was startled. Then, he heard a hoarse voice. Who are you guys? The voice came from Wu Zhuaxie. As expected, they met. Su Yun was ecstatic. Anxiously, he perked up his ears and listened to the conversation between the Evil Realm people. Were the Sword Chi and Evil Chi released by you guys? Kikik, you guys are truly not bad. I believe that you guys will be delicious later. The Evil Realm people laughed sinisterly. Then, they spread out and surrounded Wu Zhuaxie and the rest. Wu Zhuaxie and the rest knew that the Evil Realm people were not weak. They were definitely not their opponents, but they were not afraid. Wu Zhuaxie swaggered out and looked at the Evil Realm people coldly. He said arrogantly, "You guys want to devour me? Aren't you afraid that your spirit will be destroyed? Little brat, you think you can fight us?" The leader of the Evil Realm people licked his lips and laughed sinisterly. "I can't fight you guys, but I'm not someone you can provoke. Do you know who my master is? He's the master of the Black Evil Cave Mansion. If you dare to provoke me, I will make you guys die without a burial ground." Who knew when he said that, the Evil Realm people laughed out loud. Ha 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 ha. What master of the Broken Cave Mansion? Ha! In front of our master, your master is just someone who sells his head. You dare to use him to scare us? The leader of the Evil Realm people did not want to waste any more time. Laughing sinisterly, he actually made his move. One of his hands formed a claw and grabbed towards Wu Zhuaxie's heart. It was as though he wanted to take the evil heart as an appetizer. Wu Zhuaxie's face changed. He immediately retreated and unleashed a mystical technique to fight back. Very quickly, the two groups of Evil Realm people started fighting. But Wu Zhuaxie's group was weak, and they were few in numbers. They were not the opponents of the evil demons that just walked out of the Shrine of Evil Spirit. Very quickly, the two groups of Evil Realm people started fighting. But Wu Zhuaxie's group was weak, and their numbers were few. They were not the opponents of the evil demons that just walked out of the shrine. Very quickly, they could not hold on any longer. Su Yun quietly peeked out an eye and stared intently at the fight outside. His expression was solemn as perspiration dripped down his face. Even if that's the case, but if they were to use a strong mystical technique, we would not be able to hide. Since this tree hole is too weak, any little bit of evil chi can break it. Su Yun clenched his teeth. He lowered his head and thought about something. Finally, he made a decision. This tree hole is too close to where the two groups of Evil Realm people are fighting. We have to leave. The trees here will be destroyed by them sooner or later. If we don't leave, we will be discovered by them. Leave? How do we leave? There's no way out here. Who said there's no way out? Su Yun clenched his teeth. He raised his hand and smashed the tree behind him. Then, he climbed out. There's only one way we can go. Although it's a narrow escape, it's better than no way out. Are you talking about the deeper parts of the soulless forest? Chapter 204. Breaking through the tree walls, Su Yun carried Qing Xie and ran with all his might. Creating a commotion here would definitely attract the attention of the team. But the leader of the evil beings was currently focused on the few pieces of fat meat in front of him. Why would he care about Su Yun and the rest? The evil realm was a world where the strong preyed on the weak. The evil realm's evil chi was completely different from the sky martial continent's chi. They could directly absorb the opponent's evil chi and convert it for their own use. Although it was a small amount every time, but it was much faster than training, and the evil realm people enjoyed the process of devouring the opponent's soul and absorbing the opponent's power. It made them addicted. Leader, there are still people there. Ignore them, they are running towards the depths of the soulless forest. If we go there, we will definitely meet with the strong evil beings. It was not easy for us to come out from the depths of the soulless forest. If we go in again, it will only be more troublesome. Let's settle these people first. The leader laughed sinisterly, his palm suddenly congealing a regiment of pitch-black flames, quickly shooting towards Wu Zhuaxie, the flames overflowing with qi. Under the powerful strength of his palm, it struck out with the power to destroy everything. Wu Zhuoxie's face changed. He immediately raised his hand to block. His 5 long claws transformed into blades and coldly welcomed the attack. But, when his sharp claws touched the palm of flames, they were all melted. The palm of flames instantly smashed Wu Zhuoxie's claws and fiercely struck his heart. Poochie! The flames melted Wu Zhuoxie's pitch-black armor, piercing through his body, directly entering his body, grabbing onto the beating pitch-black evil heart. Wu Zhuoxie's body twitched. Before he could even react, the evil realm person in front of him had already dug out his evil heart. Haha, what a fresh heart! The leader of the evil beings laughed out loud. His blazing eyes filled with joy and satisfaction. He opened his pitch-black mouth and bit towards the evil heart like a black hole. Zila! The sound of the heart shattering came out, the evil heart spilling out a large amount of juice. The leader of the evil beings was like eating a fruit, chewing big mouthfuls, and very quickly, the evil heart was swallowed. Wu Zhuoxie lost his heart. His body twitched a few times, then fell to the ground dead. But this was not the end. The leader of the evil beings tore off his arm, twisted his neck, and started to chew on it like a starving man. Not only that, the leader of the evil beings casted a secret technique and pressed on the broken body. With a pull, a grayish-white spirit body was pulled out from the body. This spirit body looked very similar to Wu Zhuoxie. His entire body was light and agile, like a thin veil, but right now his face was twisted, revealing a panicked expression. He tried his best to open his mouth, wanting to make a sound, but no matter how much he roared, not a single sound came out. Seeing that the soul was in so much pain and despair, the leader of the evil beings laughed heartily. Ha 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 ha! After laughing, the leader of the evil beings opened his mouth again, and sucked the spirit body into his body, completely digesting the spirit, and then, he continued to enjoy Wu Zhuoxie's broken body. As for the other evil beings, they were all killed by the members of the evil beings, and after that, a group of evil beings frantically snatched their bodies, and ate their souls. Evil was evil, in their bones, they had already abandoned the bottom line of being a human. In this world, eating or being eaten depended on one's own cultivation. After the group of evil beings enjoyed their feast, they turned with satisfaction, and walked out of the soulless forest. In the depths of the soulless forest, Su Yun carried Cheng Xie and ran. Almost there, they don't seem to be chasing us, Cheng Xie shouted. Hearing that, Su Yun, who was gasping for breath, threw him onto the ground. Cheng Xie cried out in pain and laid on the ground motionless. Su Yun knew he was not dead, and took out the food that Cheng Xie gave him, and passed it over. Cheng Xie was startled, and then anxiously grabbed the black meat, stuffed it into his mouth, and in a few bites, swallowed the black meat cleanly. The evil realm is lacking in resources. I am unable to cultivate pills. To recover, I can only rely on food and my own recovery ability. Su Yun squatted down and placed his hand on Cheng Xie's body, and injected some evil spirit qi into him. The qi entered his body, and nourished Cheng Xie's body. Cheng Xie's ugly face finally recovered a little, and he regained some strength. Thank you, Cheng Xie said weakly. Can you walk? There shouldn't be a problem. Your evil spirit qi is very strong, and is very effective in nourishing my broken body. Let's not talk about this now, let's think about how to survive. Su Yun spat out some turbid qi and said, Wu Zhuoxie and the rest are definitely not the evil realm people's opponents. Maybe very quickly, Wu Zhuoxie will be killed, and the evil realm people are rushing back to report to their master, so they should not waste much time. We will wait here for an hour and then return. What if they did not leave? What do we do? Don't worry. Su Yun pointed to his own pair of black demonic pupils and said indifferently, I have a treasure and can see 1,000 miles away. If they are still here, I will be the first to capture their tracks. So that's it. Cheng Xie heaved a sigh of relief. Human, you are the second most reliable person I have met other than Master. Su Yun laughed and did not say anything, but looked around, planning to find a place to hide and settle down first. Whoa! Just then, a weak howl came out from the forest in front of them. Su Yun and Cheng Xie were shocked and looked at each other. What's that sound? Su Yun frowned and asked. Hearing that sound, it seems like a dead lonely beast. Dead lonely beast? A third stage spirit soul realm evil beast? Su Yun was stunned. He had been in the evil realm for almost a year, and through Cheng Xie's words and the books he kept, Su Yun had some understanding of the realm. Dead lonely beasts were born in swamps with dense evil qi, and from the moment they were born, their cultivation would be at the spirit core realm, and from the moment they were born, they would start hunting for prey, devouring their souls and bodies, increasing their cultivation. When their bodies were fully grown, they would have a cultivation of the third stage spirit soul realm, and at this time, the growth of the dead lonely beasts' cultivation would slow down. Fourth stage and above dead lonely beasts were rare, fifth stage were rare, and sixth stage were almost non-existent. But, even if it was third stage, to the current Su Yun, it was still a troublesome existence. Furthermore, they were in the depths of the soulless forest. Once they fought, it would attract other evil beasts, and at that time, even stronger existences would come, and Su Yun and Cheng Xie would have nowhere to run, and die without a complete corpse and not even their souls. Wait a minute. Just then, Cheng Xie suddenly exhaled. His expression was solemn, and his black ears moved slightly, as though he was listening to something. Then, he heard the whimpering sound again. Although it was as heavy as thunder, but the sound revealed a sense of pain and moaning. This dead lonely beast seems to be heavily injured, he exclaimed softly. Injured? If that's the case, then we have to escape. Who injured it? Is the being that injured it still chasing after it? If the being that injured it comes, I'm afraid we will be in trouble, so it's better to leave. But, a human, to encounter a seriously injured demonic beast, what a good opportunity and coincidence. The dead lonely beast's heart is a great nourishment. Devouring its heart can make your evil qi even purer and denser. Its heart is something that countless evil realm people dream of. Don't tell me you're just going to give it up like this? Cheng Xie screamed. In order for Su Yun to successfully obtain the divine crown, Cheng Xie gave everything he had. He exchanged the spirit fruit for materials, satisfied all of Su Yun's needs for cultivation, and threw himself into supporting work. For Su Yun to be able to step into the 10th stage of the spirit core disciple in such a short period of time, and touch the door of the spirit soul disciple, Cheng Xie had contributed a lot. Hearing Cheng Xie's words, Su Yun hesitated. Power, who did not desire it? And this kind of power that could be easily obtained without much effort, was even more attractive. Just that, should he go and get it now? If there was really an evil being chasing after this dead lonely beast, how should he deal with it? Without waiting for Su Yun to think, Cheng Xie could not wait any longer. He stood up and sprinted in that direction. Pushing aside a huge piece of desolate rock, he saw a huge dead lonely beast hovering in the air. The dead lonely beast's body was slender, like a gecko. Its entire body was covered in a pitch-black evil qi. On its head there were 2 hook-shaped horns. Its eyes were like copper bells. It looked huge and terrifying. But at this moment, the dead lonely beast's body was covered in wounds. The pitch-black skin and flesh were exposed. Evil blood flowed out and covered the ground. It seemed like it did not have long to live. Su Yun followed, and upon seeing the scene, he was startled. He anxiously looked around, only to see that although the trees and rocks were in a mess, there were no signs of an intense battle. Instead, the ground was covered with pitch-black evil blood, and around the evil blood were the gigantic footprints of the dead lonely beast. It looked like it had escaped here. Su Yun thought and walked over. Looking at the dead lonely beast whose voice was getting weaker and weaker, he did not even have time to check. The dead lonely beast immediately closed its big eyes and stopped moving. Dead. Su Yun was stunned. It seems like its injuries are not light. From the surroundings, it seems like it escaped here, and the injuries on its body seem to be caused by the evil realm people, and not by the evil beasts here. Injured by the evil realm people. Hearing Qing Xie's words, Su Yun hurriedly ran over and carefully checked the wounds on the dead lonely beast's body. He saw that the wounds were short and sharp, like claws. It was the claws of the evil realm people. Will there be other people here? Of course not. Maybe this dead lonely beast was done by the evil realm people. Su Yun exhaled and revealed a smile. They passed through this forest and met this dead lonely beast. Both sides fought. The dead lonely beast was outnumbered and escaped. The evil realm people could not catch up, so they continued on their way. I never thought that we would meet this heavily injured dead lonely beast. Seems like they gave us a big gift. With that, Su Yun jumped onto the back of the dead lonely beast. He pulled out the 1,000-deep sword and stabbed it. Voila! With a sweep of the sword, the dead lonely beast's stomach was cut open. Chapter 205. A pitch-black heart that was just enough to fill a bamboo basket was picked out by the 1,000-deep sword. Su Yun leaped up and grabbed the heart in his hands. The dead lonely beast's heart was emitting a disgusting stench. Su Yun frowned as he tasted the moldy fruit. But thinking about its effects, he endured the disgust and bit it into his mouth, swallowing it. It was as though he was swallowing it whole. So disgusting. Su Yun wiped his mouth, turned and whispered to Qing Xie, "Let's go, there's a dead evil beast here. Soon, there will be other evil beasts here. Let's leave quickly." "Alright, you have to find a place to digest the dead lonely beast's heart, and convert the energy in the heart into your own." Su Yun exhaled, and quickly ran with Qing Xie. The two of them ran towards the outskirts of the soulless forest for a while, and found a piece of empty land and stopped. The empty land was flat, and there were no traces left by the gigantic evil beast. Also, the qi in the air was calm, so there should not be any dangerous creatures here. Su Yun did not hesitate, and immediately sat down cross-legged, and started digesting the dead lonely beast's heart in his stomach. Qing Xie stood at the side and stood guard for him. The dead lonely beast's body was huge, and its entire body was filled with treasures. But its most precious part was the heart that stored a large amount of its evil qi. It was said that the dead lonely beast's spirit essences were not distributed around the qi channels in its body, but all gathered around the heart. Hence, the dead lonely beast's heart was huge, and very strong, giving the dead lonely beast a strong life force. Su Yun wanted to digest it, but the evil spirit qi in his heart started to resist. He could only incite all the profound spirit qi in his body to encircle it. All the spirit essences in his body opened up, and the profound spirit qi gushed out crazily towards his stomach, dissolving the impurities in his heart, and began to absorb the dead lonely beast's energy. Qing Xie saw Su Yun sitting cross-legged on the ground, concentrating on regulating his qi. His skin was releasing a large amount of evil qi, and his face was getting paler and paler. Black veins could be seen on his skin, which was the phenomenon of the evil qi passing through the qi channels. After about half a day, Su Yun finally opened his eyes and stopped. "How do you feel?" Qing Xie ran over and asked. Su Yun did not reply. Instead, he extended his hand and started accumulating his profound spirit qi. In the midst of the pitch black, there were traces of white, blue, green, red, and purple qi overflowing. It was as though a black paper was painted with all sorts of colors. Although it looked extremely beautiful, there was an indescribable coldness to it. "This is your profound spirit qi?" Qing Xie looked at the qi on his palm in shock, his eyes almost popping out of his eye sockets. "Yes. Why? Why do I feel the scent of other attributes? This isn't just a simple evil spirit aura, right? It seems there are at least 3 types of auras inside." "Not 3. Including the evil spirit aura, there are 7 in total." Su Yun clenched his fists, and the qi dissipated. He raised his head and said firmly, "I have to leave the evil realm alive." "Qing Xie, I will help you obtain your master's divine crown, but I have to tell you seriously here. You better not lie to me, otherwise. You want to kill me? No. Su Yun shook his head. I will personally destroy your master's divine crown. With that, Qing Xie's face changed. He bit his lower lip, but did not reply. Suddenly, Su Yun raised his eyes and looked far away. He saw the pair of pitch-black eyes shining with a golden light aura. 2 lines of fish patterns appeared in his pupils. Someone's coming here. Their speed is extremely fast, and their qi is dense. Su Yun's face congealed and said softly, Is it the Almighty Being? Among these people, there are indeed a few evil realm people who went back to report. It's most likely them. From the looks of it, I'm afraid they are going to obtain the divine crown. Qing Xie heard, and his expression became anxious. Then let's move quickly, we must not let them get it first. This divine crown is in the shrine of evil spirit. Just based on our strength, it is impossible to obtain it. And if it lands in the hands of the Almighty Being, our chances will be even slimmer, so there is only one way to obtain it. What way? Qing Xie asked. It's when they get the divine crown. Su Yun rubbed his chin and thought, then said, Previously, those evil realm people were just probing the shrine, probing the internal structure, and gathering information about the dangers in the shrine. You said it before, the Almighty Being is naturally cautious. Before he does anything, he will investigate his target first, so he must be fully prepared now. Our chances of getting it are not high, so when we make our move later, we must first prepare 2 escape routes. Escape routes? How do we escape? Are you familiar with this place? Not really. I'm such a weak person, how would I dare to come here? The danger here is not something I can handle. You're at least familiar with the shrine, right? Of course. All right, let's go. To where? To reach the shrine first. While they are not here yet, we need to make some preparations. But didn't you say it just now? There's a dead lonely beast there. I'm afraid there will be many evil beings approaching. If the evil beings are near, that's only near the dead lonely beast. We'll take a detour from the side. How will there be any danger? Compared to us, a dead lonely beast's body will definitely be more enticing to them. After Qing Xie heard, he hesitated for a moment, but finally nodded his head, agreeing with Su Yun's considerations. Because no one was more familiar with the structure of the shrine than Qing Xie, Su Yun had to bring Qing Xie along. The 2 of them quickly rushed into the depths of the soulless forest, and a few thousand meters behind the 2 of them, a group of black figures were moving quickly. The bright moon hung high in the sky, its silver light shining on the ground. The beautiful night scene warmed everyone's heart. But at that moment, the Su family was enveloped in a cold aura. Clang clang. The teacup fell to the ground, followed by the sounds of tables and chairs being flipped over. Su Yongnian, who was kneeling on the ground, lowered his head. He did not make a sound, allowing Su Lixiong to vent his anger. Su Yun, it's fine if Su Yun dies. We don't need those treasures. Why can't we find Qing Er? You trash. Don't tell me there's no one in my Su family who can do anything? Trash! Su Lixiong bellowed. He kicked a chair into pieces like a mad lion. According to our people's observations, Qing Er used our Su family's treasure, the exquisite heart jewel, and directly teleported away. I do not know where she is now, but I have already contacted the Profound Sky sect, and a few other sects that are on good terms with the Su family, to put Qing Er on the wanted list of the entire continent. I believe that we will definitely have news. Wanted list of the entire continent? Hearing that, Su Lixiong snorted. That sounds good, but can our people cover the entire continent? Can our people cover the entire continent? Don't try to brush me off. Su Yongnian, I made you the great clan elder, because I want you to help me solve this matter perfectly. If you can't do it, then you can scram down from this position. Hearing that, Su Yongnian immediately bowed and shouted, Patriarch, please give Yang Nian another chance. Chance? That doesn't matter. Since the Profound Sky sect only gave our Su family 3 months, if we can't find Qing heir by then, I can only hand you over to them, and give them an answer. Su Lixiong snorted, then waved his hand, indicating for him to leave. Su Yang Nian's expression did not change. He bowed again, then stood up and left. When he left, a young man dressed in purple robes with a pale face walked in. Su Yang Nian. The young man greeted Su Yang Nian, who had a calm expression but was walking hurriedly. But Su Yang Nian only looked at him once, without saying a word. He turned and left. A trace of suspicion flashed past his eyes, but he did not ask anything and walked straight in. Su Lixiong was also angry. He had his hands behind his back facing the door as though he was thinking about something. When the young man walked in, he then turned. The young man who walked in was Prince Fu Su. "My son, so it's you. Why are you looking for me so late at night?" Su Lixiong's expression finally looked better. Although Su Yang Nian and the rest of the Su family could not accomplish anything, and were all crippled, but towards his son, Su Lixiong was 100% satisfied. What Su Yun, what Su Qing heir? Compared to Fu Su, they were worthless. In terms of talent, Fu Su was definitely the strongest. Fu Su heard Su Lixiong's call and his long black brows furrowed slightly. He bowed seriously and then said, "Father, I have come today to ask for your resignation." "Resignation?" Su Lixiong was startled. "Where are you going?" "To pursue the heavenly Tao." "Heavenly Tao? Such an illusory thing, why are you still so stubborn about it? Your current achievements are already unparalleled." Su Lixiong said. He had already lost a son. Towards this talented son, he placed great importance on him. In the future, Fu Su would definitely become a powerful person. But Prince Fu Su shook his head. "My talent is good? No, father, in this continent it is not about talent but power. So what if my talent is good? I have just stepped into the first stage of the spirit-soul realm, and experts can easily kill me. So, I still need to pursue the heavenly Tao, and my cultivation level still needs to increase." Seems like Fu Su had made up his mind. Su Lixiong shook his head and asked, "Then where do you intend to go to pursue your so-called heavenly Tao?" "I have already decided on a place, but as for the exact location, it is not convenient to say." Fu Su revealed a smile and said, "Father, I promise that this will be the last time I leave this place. After this ends, I will return and lead the Su family to glory, to conquer the continent." "Ha ha ha ha, my son is so ambitious, and this old man here is very comforted. Good, good." Su Lixiong laughed out loud, but did not notice the flash of red light in Fu Su's eyes. "Before I leave, I hope that father can promise me something." "What is it?" "I need a few experts from the main house to follow me, to ensure my safety." Fu Su laughed. Chapter 206. Voila! 2 figures dashed out of the forest and quickly ran towards the plains in front of them. When they reached a third of the plains, the 2 of them found a big rock and jumped behind it. With their backs against the rock, they gasped for air. The 2 of them were covered in mud and leaves. They were battered and exhausted. They had been running for their lives. The smell of the dead lonely beast had attracted a large number of evil beasts. As a result, when the 2 of them passed through the forest, they met many evil beasts. Although a portion of the evil beasts were not interested, there were always some greedy evil beasts that wanted to devour the 2 of them. Su Yun did not dare to continue fighting. He was afraid of attracting more evil beasts. He could only escape with Qing Xia. At least they did not meet any strong beings. That was how they managed to escape the soulless forest. Su Yun gasped for air. He had forcefully blocked the attacks of a few evil beasts, causing his qi to be in a mess. He anxiously sat cross-legged and adjusted his qi. After stabilizing himself, he opened his eyes. "It should be safe here, right?" "It's safe." Qing Xia nodded. He stood up and pointed far away. Look! Su Yun looked towards the direction he was pointing. He saw a tall hill far away. There was a gigantic shrine. The shrine looked like it had experienced an earthquake. The ground was full of holes. The pillars had collapsed. The roof tiles were broken. Bricks were scattered everywhere. The enchantment was broken and the array seals were broken. The shrine had not completely collapsed. However, the door was blocked by the broken pillars. There was a big hole at the side. A large amount of black evil chi leaked out from the hole. It looked strange and eerie. Is that the shrine of evil spirits? Su Yun looked far away. The dusky sky made the shrine look extremely scary. Yes. Cheng Xie nodded. He sat on the ground and said, "The chi in the shrine is extremely strong. Even the chi around the shrine is extremely dense. So, there won't be any evil beasts nearby. We are safe here. But if we want to get closer, we will have to endure the chi. Previously, you did not have any evil chi on you. So, you will definitely not be able to get close to the chi. So, I have to help you cultivate the evil spirit chi. Because only by using your own evil chi to synthesize the chi, can you successfully enter the shrine." Synthesize? Yes, comprehensive. Some of the evil realm people are very smart. They use their own chi to combine the strong chi of a treasure or a place. This is something that the evil beasts do not have. You might not know how to combine the chi, but I know, because I know this place better than anyone else. Cheng Xie said, "Human, follow my movements and chance to control the evil spirit chi. We will go over now." "Alright." Su Yun nodded. Then Guan Xie clenched his fists and moved them quickly. His 10 fingers loosened and then tightened, and he muttered a few sentences of evil language. The demonic chi in his body began to circulate rhythmically, passing through every inch of his meridians. It flowed rapidly and finally spilled out of his body, forming a glossy black barrier around his body. The barrier spun round after round, growing and multiplying, as if it would never stop. Guan Xie took a deep breath, stared at the dilapidated building on the high slope in the distance, and stepped forward. Seeing that, Su Yun immediately followed. The two of them walked slowly, one in front and one at the back. Then, in less than an incense worth of time, the two of them crashed into a strange chi field. It was as if they were in water. Every step they took, they would feel the resistance from the chi field. Their movements were restricted, and their movements became strenuous and stiff. Is the shrine of evil spirits like this too? Su Yun walked forward step by step with heavy steps, and asked Cheng Xie. Cheng Xie's face was pale white, his face was sweating, and he panted. "No, the chi field is just some heavy chi that is released from the shrine. They are all piled up here, and it is hard to disperse, so it became like this. There is no chi field inside." Hearing that, Su Yun was silent for a moment and thought, "If it's like this, with such a chi field outside, I'm afraid it's not beneficial for us to leave." Not beneficial for us to leave? Yes, the Almighty Being's cultivation is high. He can directly ignore this chi field, but we can't. With this chi field as a barrier, we can't leave quickly, and will become a sharp blade that kills us. Then what should we do? Is there any other way out of the shrine? There's a shuttle array that has already been destroyed. Shuttle array? Where is it linked to? The coordinates are at the southwest side of the evil realm, Cluster Cloud Mountain. How do you know that the shuttle array has been destroyed? Back then, during the Great Calamity, we wanted to leave through the teleportation formation, but the formation core of the teleportation formation was removed by someone in advance. It might have been done by that Almighty Being. He must have already made preparations to cut off all our paths of retreat. Is there any way to repair the shuttle array? Su Yun asked immediately. This is more difficult, but the shrine's warehouse has an array eye, just that I don't know if the things in the warehouse were robbed by the Almighty Being. Is the warehouse where the divine crown is? No. The divine crown is in the center of the shrine. Hearing that, Su Yun started to think again. After a moment, he said, "The storehouse should still have the formation aperture. According to what you said, it is not easy to take the treasures from the shrine. The treasures in the storehouse might have been taken away, but the formation aperture might still be there. Let's go to the storehouse first, find the formation aperture, and wait for the teleportation array to be repaired. Then we can make plans. If the teleportation array is not repaired, we can only give up on this operation." Give up? Cheng Xie stopped in his tracks and turned to look at Su Yun. "Yes, give up." Su Yun nodded his head. "I will not throw my life away because of this mission of yours. Without the shuttle array, we have no way out. Even if we take the divine crown, we will still die." This. Cheng Xie was obviously unhappy, but he had no other choice. He could only sigh and nod his head. If we are alive, we still have a chance. Even if the divine crown is taken away by the Almighty Being, we still have a chance to get it back. But if we die, then we have no chance at all. Sometimes, living an ignoble life is more valuable than a glorious sacrifice. Su Yun patted Cheng Xie's shoulder and continued forward. Cheng Xie was slightly startled. Looking at the figure moving forward, his eyes were confused. Living an ignoble life? All these years, haven't I been living an ignoble life? Cheng Xie muttered. After passing through the Qi field, the two of them finally neared the high slope, nearing the broken yet majestic shrine. It was extremely cold here. Even a drop of water would turn into ice. If a normal person were here, they would have long frozen to death. Su Yun's cultivation was high, so he was naturally fine. But Cheng Xie was different. His cultivation was extremely low. After passing through the Qi field, he was already exhausted. Now that he was suffering from the cold, it was hard for him to endure. He was shivering, and it was extremely unbearable. Seeing that, Su Yun channeled some evil spirit Qi to protect his body. Only then did Cheng Xie feel much better. "Thank you." He heaved a sigh of relief and turned to look at the gigantic shrine. The evil eye seal was filled with an uncontrollable excitement. "Master! Master! I'm back!" He muttered softly, his voice was sorrowful. But the glory of the past no longer existed. His companions had all left. No one would remember the glory and tyranny of the shrine of evil spirit. They only cared about the treasures here. Su Yun took out the 1,000-deep sword and engraved dragon blade. He hung the death sword on his back. Then, he walked towards the entrance of the shrine. Cheng Xie regained his senses and hurriedly followed. "Human, you have to be careful. There are many dead shrine warriors here that have transformed into evil beings. There are also many who covet the shrine's treasures. They are controlled by the evil Qi here. They are all very strong. You have to be careful." Cheng Xie exclaimed. "I understand. You better stay closer to me. You're more familiar with this place. Which way leads to the storage room?" Su Yun held onto his swords and asked. "The right side is through the evil garden. Then walk through the cleansing resentment pool. Then you'll reach the storage room. The Almighty Being is already on his way here. I believe that in no time they will reach here. Time is of the essence. Quickly bring me there." "All right." Cheng Xie nodded. He immediately ran to the front and led the way for Su Yun. But he had not even walked for a few steps. Suddenly, a sound pierced through the air. Su Yun's ears twitched. His nerves trembled. He waved both swords in his hands and threw them out. So. The 1,000-deep sword and engraved dragon blade flew out in unison. They flew close to Cheng Xie and spun quickly. From the right, a large number of pitch-black arrows were shot towards Cheng Xie. But the two swords spun quickly and formed a circular sword cover. It protected Cheng Xie. The arrows were immediately destroyed. Cheng Xie was not injured at all. He was stunned for a moment. But very quickly, he regained his senses. He looked towards the direction where the arrows came from and shouted, "It's an evil being!" Then, he saw a few people carrying a quiver of arrows. They were dressed in light armor. Their skin was pitch black. Evil chi permeated everywhere. They came out from a broken door on the right. There were a total of 4 people. All of them were holding onto bows. Their evil eyes were sluggish. They looked over. When their arrows were blocked, they did not have any reaction. They just continued to hold onto the bow in their hands and knocked another arrow. They were ready to attack again. Its master's evil wind team. After seeing their faces clearly, Ching Xie knelt on the ground and cried, "Have they all turned into evil beings?" "Seems like it." Su Yun took a deep breath and said softly. Then, he waved both his hands. Activating his profound spirit chi, the 1,000-deep sword and the engraved dragon blade that were revolving around Ching Xie flew out again and killed the members of the evil wind team. These evil realm people had no consciousness. Their minds were only filled with killing. Their cultivation levels were not high. They were only at the 5th stage of the spirit core disciple. Adding that they only used bows and arrows, it was hard for them to fight against Su Yun, who could control flying sword. After a few slashes they were killed. Ching Xie took a deep breath. He did not say anything. He did not hate Su Yun. He understood that he was forced to do so. After the members of the evil wind team died, Ching Xie's heart was filled with sorrow. He did not say a word. He continued to lead the way towards the evil garden. Just that, before the 2 of them entered the evil garden, suddenly, the entire shrine started to shake. Then, a loud roar sounded out. Woo! The sound was melodious like the roar of an ancient beast. Ching Xie heard it and his face changed. Not good. What's going on? It seems like there's a strong evil being here that was provoked. The evil being was provoked? Hearing that, Su Yun was enlightened. You mean, the Almighty Being is here? For a strong evil being to be provoked, there was only one possibility. Danger was approaching. An existence like Su Yun was not a threat to them at all. So, it must be the Almighty Being who had reached the heavens that caused such a phenomenon. Go. Quick. Run straight over. Su Yun whispered. If the Almighty Being sensed their presence, the 2 of them would definitely die. Ching Xie did not dare to delay and immediately ran towards the evil garden. But just as he entered the evil garden, a few more evil beings jumped out. Su Yun's body was like the wind. He brandished his sword and rushed forward. Sword shadows flew everywhere. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.